200 years ago, there was an assassin so legendary that even death couldn't stop him. They called him the Black, a man who refused to die until he had slaughtered every enemy who stood against him. One night, on what should have been his final mission, he was betrayed. He watched as his wife Eva was murdered. Or so he thought. Now, after 2 centuries, he awakens in a new body. In this future world, assassination has now become a twisted sport. Assassins compete for rank and glory, their bodies now enhanced with bioengineering and nanocores that let them cheat death itself. But something's not right. The woman who helped revive him, Maya, seems eerily familiar. And those 5 that betrayed him are now the most powerful assassins who rule this new world. Despite the odds, he vows to destroy everything that they built. And he won't stop until he sends every last one of his enemies to the black. Hey, before we continue, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below to get updates on our latest recaps. Now, onto the story. Many types of assassinations exist in this world. There's the stealth kind. There's the infiltration kind, effortlessly mingling in a crowd while gathering intel. There's the flashy kind, involving chaos and destruction. While many assassins focus on mastering one style, there are a few who are simply on another level. These uniquely talented few stand out because of their unparalleled skill and natural ability. And at the very top of this deadly hierarchy, there's an assassin shrouded in mystery and fear. His frightening reputation is well-earned, surpassing even the cold grip of death. Whether facing 10 or 100 adversaries, he always prevails. He came to be known as the Black, an invisible reaper of death. Inside a military facility that the Black has just infiltrated, computer screens flash their warnings. With a flick of wrist, the data is downloaded. The room behind him explodes and the assassin informs his handlers that the mission is complete. Watching the chaos, he smiles. She's not going to be happy about this. Under a clear, starry sky, he makes his way home. He's about to knock, but it's opened swiftly from the inside. Zach, you're late. Dinner is cold, she scolds, while Zach looks apologetic. Eva does her best to fuss over Zach, dragging him inside. And what's with these dirty clothes? Come on, in the bath you go. I'll clean you up. Zach quickly interjects. No, it's fine. I'll do it myself. Only for Eva to retort. Don't talk back to your wife. In you go, pushing him towards the bathroom. Inside, Zach grumbles about spousal abuse, but Eva's light-hearted philosophy is firm. Happy wife, happy life. Despite his protests, Eva enthusiastically scrubs Zach in the bath, both sharing a brief, cheerful moment. Later on, she tenderly adjusts his tie. At the dining table, things momentarily seem close to normal. But their happiness is soon disrupted by an all-too-familiar beeping. Zach knows his last day won't be easy. Eva receives a tender kiss from Zach. Sorry about this. I'll be back soon. He prepares to leave, when something surprises him. Eva hugs Zach from behind. She makes a desperate appeal. This is the last time, right? Promise me. I promise you, this is the last time. I'm leaving that life behind. With Eva's tearful encouragement. I love you. Please come back soon. Zach heads towards his mission. Alone, Eva struggles to maintain her composure. The scene switches to a dimly lit warehouse, where a figure demands, "What the hell are you people?" Only to be met with brutality. How long did it take this time? An amused voice asks. 15 minutes and 44 seconds. Another voice from the shadows answers. Could have been better, replies the first one. Another shadow declares that it's time for them to leave. Let's go see what the best assassin can do, they declares. Enthusiastic approval echoes. I can't wait. The Black arrives at a dock. He ponders the cryptic nature of his new instructions. Alert and suspicious, Zach's heightened senses go on full alert. From the shadows, imposing figures make themselves known. A smirking face acknowledges his skill. Zach demands, "Who are you?" The leader steps forward and introduces himself. I'm King, leader of these idiots behind me. He introduces the others as Rook and Knight, a fake sister called Bishop, and a little girl named Queen. Zach comments on the childishness of calling themselves after chess pieces. Aren't you one to talk, Mr. the Black? King calls him out. Zach retorts coldly. I've never referred to myself by that name. He warns King to back off. A bead of sweat rolls down King's face. He raises both hands defensively and jokes. Wow, relax. I'm just goofing around. We're here to join you on your mission, agency's orders. Zach responds. Go home, I work alone. The team gathered behind King insists. Orders are orders, you know that much, right? We won't get in your way, we'll support you from the sidelines, you just go ahead and do your thing. Zach's eyes narrow, but he reluctantly moves forward. The disdain in Zach's eyes is evident. King watches closely, his eyes glinting. Before he is able to announce it, Zack is done with the mission. King mutters, "That's way too fast," as Zack decimates the defenses in the warehouse. King observes Zack's efficiency in securing and opening the target container. He's unsure whether to be impressed or disappointed. As Zack stands amid the carnage, covered in blood, someone from the backup team exclaims, "That was incredible. There were at least 50 professional assassins defending that thing." Zack, his aura intense and eyes glowing menacingly, replies, "I thought I told you to leave." King finally concedes. "Fine, we will leave. But could you at least give the little one an autograph? It would mean the world to her," Zack sternly says. "I don't do that." But the little girl looks up at him with wide, pleading eyes, shyly asking, "Please?" Thinking about Eva, he relents. "Fine, give it here." He signs and returns it back quickly. "Here you go, now leave." The girl beams with sheer joy, lunging forward to hug Zack tightly, exclaiming, "Hey!" as he stiffens in surprise. Quickly stepping back, she apologizes, "Sorry." Zack shakes his head, exasperated. "We are done here." The group silently watches as he disappears. King chuckles. "He's pretty intense, huh? I guess the rumors are true." His teammates agree with mixed reactions. The girl hesitates before nervously asking, "Do we have to do this?" King, looking sternly, says, "Don't be a pain." Then more softly, "He saw through me, but he let his guard down when it came to you." Finally, King declares, "Let's go, the real mission starts now." As Zack trudges toward home, thinking to himself, "Every time I make it to the door, they call again and end up sending me on 5 more missions. So annoying!" However, he consoles himself, determined that this was his last day working for them, and hoping they'd leave him in peace. As he approaches the house, he's startled to find the same girl from before standing there, angrily asking, "The hell are you doing here?" He questions, "How did you find this place?" She admits, "An undetectable tracker. I'm very sorry about all this. I was not able to stay inside." Zack's anger surges. "Eva!" But he is soon horrified to find Eva's figure hanging from the wall and surrounded by the team who taunted him earlier. King and his team smirk, brimming with sinister satisfaction, and Zack is seething with rage and grief. Suddenly, a dark force engulfs King and his crew, restraining them for a moment, prompting King to howl. "On guard!" Zack, filled with intense fury, begins to emanate a powerful aura. But the figure on the wall speaks. "Please don't!" He realizes the truth. "You're not my wife!" he shouts, recognizing the cruel deception. Taking advantage of his momentary confusion, the crew surround him and attack him simultaneously. Zack is severely wounded. Barely able to move, he tries to find out where his real wife is, managing to gasp, "Where is she?" The girl tears are flowing at the sight. King steps closer menacingly, taunting Zack. "Don't you want to ask about the powers we used? Aren't you at least a bit interested?" Zack's determination shines through his pain as he demands, "Where is she?" King coldly tells him, "She's dead. She killed herself when she saw us, maybe to not be a burden for you or something. We ended up having to use a fake." King proceeds to explaining their new powers. "A monumental change is coming," declares King. "But you're too dangerous to be kept around. Your death will mark the beginning of the immortal world." As Zack loses grasp on reality, King mocks him. "Checkmate. What do you always say in these situations?" "Right. Enjoy the black." King and his cronies start laughing maniacally, their laughter echoing mercilessly into the darkness. Zack, battered and bloodied, struggles to hold on, fury etched onto his face. A lone figure, the young queen, stands apart in the shadows, looking downcast, possibly regretting her involvement. Zack's thoughts race as he chokes out, "Eva, I'm sorry." His eyes, still burning with a mix of determination and sorrow, are focused on the distant past. He mutters again, "So sorry," his voice breaking slightly. Images of Eva flash through his mind, her gentle hands, her loving embrace. Zack's heart aches. "I couldn't keep my promise to you." According to history and the legends, the Black was killed in great glory, facing thousands of enemies. He didn't give in to death until all his enemies were dead and lying beneath his feet. He died honorably, standing like a pillar of the assassin world. And on that pillar, a new age for the assassin world was built. Inside a liquid-filled chamber, a body floats connected to tubes. A close-up of his eye shows a slight twitch, a hint of life still remaining. That age has held strong for 200 years. Now, that pillar has begun to shake, for the very legend that held it strong has come back. Zack's eyes blaze with vengeance. After 200 years, he is now ready to send them all to the black. Somewhere in the city, an alarm system is activated. "The backup data has been destroyed," a voice yells as a woman dashes through a corridor. Guards are called to capture the intruder. As she sprints, she contemplates. This was a big risk, but if this plan works. As she leaps from the building, her only thoughts are that he is the only hope of changing this world. Now fully conscious, Zack reflects on mortality. I've always believed that the last thing one sees is pure black. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just an endless void of nothingness represented by the color black. He reflects that he truly believed that, until his very last moments. And yet, as I regained consciousness, I was proven wrong. His eyes open, displaying a mix of fear and anger as he realizes he's alive. That's just not right. I've come back from the black. His thoughts linger on the absurdity of it. As he observes his surroundings, Zack resolves. While that fact infuriates me, I will definitely use this opportunity to find and kill them. He is alerted to the sound of footsteps. Enemies? He mutters. He is quickly surrounded and attacked by guards. He deftly dodges and strikes the first guard. He fights fiercely, his new body's strength evident. What's going on? He wonders. Zack notices that the guards are robotic. He questions his newfound abilities. And what's with this body? I feel a lot stronger and faster than I was before. Struggling with disbelief, he asks. What happened to me? How am I alive? A guard leaps from above, knife raised. But it is destroyed by a glowing circular weapon. Zack turns to where it came from. What was that? A new technology? The woman stares at him anxiously, and asks herself. Did it work? Zack confronts her. Are you the one responsible for this? The woman analyzes his capabilities. Without using body's upgrades or even nanoessence, he made quick work of all of them. As I thought, he's stronger than most just with his skills alone. Amazed, she exclaims. Whoa! I can't believe it's the black in the flesh. Zack, holding her at sword point, demands. Explain yourself. Where am I? What is this body? The woman coolly explains. As you probably figured already, we're in the future. 200 years since your death, to be exact. Reflecting on the futuristic surroundings, Zack realizes. 200 years. I figured we were in the future by looking at everything, but that much time has gone by. The woman attempts to ease his confusion. It's normal to feel confused about this. She reassures him. But don't worry, you have me. I'll explain everything. Zack, still suspicious, demands. Who are you? Introduces herself. I just got this skin myself recently. I think I'll go with the name Maya. Do you like it? Zack warns. I won't ask again. Maya explains. Relax, what would telling you who I am do? You've been dead for 2 centuries, you know. With a hint of blush, she adds. Besides, I think there are far more important questions you want answered right now, yes? Holding his worn clothes, Zack ponders while Maya begins her explanation. She discloses her past employment with Caspa Industries and its dark secrets. Zack is intrigued but still reserved as Maya describes how she had to reskin to escape. She reveals. We call body switching to another reskin. Basically, what you just went through. Maya adds that before fleeing, she stole his nanocore to activate his backup storage. Zack glares at her. And why would you do that? Reluctantly, Maya stammers. Isn't that obvious? The world is built on a lie, and after what they did to you, I was sure you'd be the only one motivated enough to do something about it. Angrily, Zack retorts. What makes you think I give a shit about the world? Unfazed, Maya begins to steer the conversation towards their next steps. We're getting off track, so let me cut to the thing you want to know the most. After your death, technology advanced extremely quickly and bioengineered bodies became the norm. She describes the current state of the world under the tyrannical rule of the Pale Death, manipulating everything to maintain dominance. Assassins now operate in a rank system with his killers being the top 5. A sinister image of the top assassins, including King, flashes before Zack. The memory of his bloody past fuels his rage. Clenching his fists, determinedly Zack roars. Where are they? Maya urgently tries to reason with him. I understand, but you can't just attack them. No matter how good of an assassin you were 200 years ago, this new world has different sets of rules. Undeterred, Zack replies. Move! I'll find them myself then. And when I do, I'll make sure they die 10 times over. Realizing the urgency, Maya quickly suggests. Wait. First, we need to go somewhere safer. She emphasizes that the enemies already know their location. I know, I was counting on it. He replies, picking up one of the weapons. Just then, a figure steps through the doorway. Zack and Maya look up in surprise. Maya stares with a mix of apprehension and urgency. Oh no! Is it too late? Zack's gaze sharpens, and he takes a step forward, his voice low and dangerous. I'm guessing you know where that bastard is. The other man, unflinching, responds with a bored expression. I do not know, but please refrain from calling my king such vulgar terms. I will not tolerate any such disrespect. A smirk curls on Zack's face, his eyes gleaming darkly. Oh? And what are you going to do about it if I don't? The man materializes his weapon. Such insolence. As a pawn of his majesty, I shall deliver swift judgment upon the offender. Zack notices the sword and thinks, it's that weird technology again. Meanwhile, Maya's alarmed voice cuts through the tense atmosphere, warning. Wait. You still don't know how to use that body, or the power in it. We should run. But Zack, unmoved by her concern, taunts his foe. Like I care. Show me what you got, assassin from future. And he utters his infamous line. I'll send you to the black. The pawn advances, his voice dripping with condescension. You should refrain from imitating a legend. With your mediocre skills, it would only serve to stain his respected name. He raises his sword, his eyes glinting with deadly intent. Please be sure to keep that in mind in the short time you have left. With a rush of energy, Zack lunges at the pawn. Does everyone talk this much, or is it just you? Come on already! The pawn's blade meets Zack's, a bright flash of energy erupting from the collision. The intensity of the clash pushes both fighters to their limits, and the older man, unfazed, says, As you wish. Maya remains tense. This isn't good. Even he can't fight a pawn yet. Zack realizes his opponent's speed. He's fast. But I'm faster, he thinks as he goes for the counterattack. But at the last second he realizes something is wrong. What the hell? He exclaims, and quickly jumps out of the way. Maya, watching from the sidelines, cries out. I told you! He's not an enemy you can take on right now! He's one of King's 8 pawns. Pawn number 8 King's Lance, rank 100 in. Maya explains that his body is fully enhanced and upgraded, which makes him one of the top of the assassin charts. Zack and Maya stand at a distance from him, strategizing their next move. King's Lance stands nonchalantly flipping his cape. Zack contemplates the future and the implications of these enhancements and upgrades. Maya urges Zack to retreat, admitting they are not ready to face King's Lance. But Zack disagrees. I don't care how strong they are, it only means I have to become stronger. His determination is clear. A sudden memory of Eva flashes through Zack's mind, bringing a renewed sense of purpose. Maya desperately volunteers to help, offering her support despite her current state. But Zack is adamant. Don't you dare, he's mine! And bolts towards King's Lance. Maya shouts that they don't have backups, so if they die here, it's the end. Zack lunges forward, and encircles his opponent. Backups? Zack says with derision. Was everyone so afraid of death they kept trying to find ways around it? For someone so inexperienced, your speed and instincts are proving more refined than I had anticipated. King's Lance counters. Zack's eyes narrow, knowing it's a fight to the finish. Whether you have backups or not, having just one chance at life was the only reason we were human. He finishes with a stab to the heart. King's Lance strains with effort at this attack. It was that which made us want to better ourselves, to be good for those we love. He lands a blow that sends his enemy flying across the room. Maya watches in shock. It can't be, was that? She mutters. The walls has cracked under the sheer force of the blow. Nano essence? King's Lance realizes the shift in Zack's power. Zack looks at his leg in amazement at this new technology. King's Lance picks himself up from the rubble and prepares for his next attack. He promises not to hold back on his power, as he arms himself with a new lance and coats himself with armor. Zack, now unrelenting, taunts. Hey, your body was already tough enough. Maya recognizes Zack's breakthrough, urging him to rely on his body. Do that, and you'll be able to fight him. King's Lance, determined not to let them win, cracks the ground beneath his feet. I shall not allow it. Zack rushes forward with incredible speed, targeting King's Lance. Zack's eyes sharpen as he senses the shifting dynamics. Thoughts race through Zack's mind. Everything is happening too fast. Memories flash, his death, his revival. The realization hits Zack. He's fighting a monster from the future and relies on a weird body to win. Zack's past, his former self as the best assassin, resurfaces. For Eva, he was ready to give it all up. Their shared moments flash back, her wishes, her love. This determination fuels Zack further. If I have to rely on this body, becoming some kind of monster or killing machine, he decides, ready to avenge her. The resolve becomes his ferocious drive, accepting any resultant path. Zack finally lands a decisive blow. King's Lance is stabbed through. Maya watches in awe. He did it! King's Lance, now fallen, can't comprehend the power Zack wields. He realizes that his opponent wasn't imitating, he was the real thing. He was the black. Zack asks if that was all a rank 100 assassin could do. King's Lance struggles, needing to report the threat to his king. Maya yells to grab his nanocore. Zack quickly grabs the round disc embedded in his body. He asks what that thing was. Maya explains that a nanocore is what stores his identity and nano DNA. She tells Zack that he has one like it too. Zack asks why it needed to be removed. Maya tells him it allows him to communicate with their enemies. She asks him to hand it over so he could reskin in the future. Zack contemplates this idea. Maya doesn't see a reason to kill him permanently, and that in this future, destroying one's core was taboo. Zack nods. I think I understand. Gears turning in his mind. Maya asks for the core again. But suddenly Zack crushes it. Enjoy the black. Maya is shocked. He didn't understand a thing she said. He discards the crumbled remnants of the core. I understood, all right, he says darkly. Back up? Permanent death? Temporary death? I don't care, I'm here to kill, he declares with a chilling resolve. Maya, overwhelmed by the destruction of the core, is left trembling on the ground, wondering at what she unleashed. Is this the fate that awaits everyone in his path for vengeance? She whispers to herself. Maya, close to tears, locks eyes with his harsh gaze. She's conflicted between the desire to help her friend and the sheer terror he instills. As she steadies herself, she reflects with a growing sense of dread. Is this my eventual fate? Revealing that she was once the girl, Queen. Cut to a flashback where Queen embraces Zack, admitting she was genuinely happy to meet him despite the ploy to plant the tracker on him. She recalls wondering how things might have gone differently. Maya tells herself it's her fault for having even the slightest hope. She wonders if Zack would ever accept her if he knew who she really was. Maya stutters, starting to say something but stops short. With tears in her eyes, she admits, Maybe I deserve to be killed by you. Zack stares down at Maya, emotionless. He then turns away, declaring, We are done here, and walks away, leaving Maya behind. But Maya, despite feeling broken, gets up and insists. Even so. Her determination resurfaces. Until the day comes that it's my turn to be killed by you, I'll make sure you get to the others and stop them. She catches up to Zack, looking resolute. She apologizes to their fallen foe, lamenting that he was the first victim on Zack's path of vengeance. Her eyes reflect a renewed resolve. I'll make sure that I'm the last. Zack walks away, deep in thought. Zack examines his hand, noticing the unusual lines and powers, pondering what kind of technology this could be. Maya excitedly explains. Oh, that's nanotechnology. Hence the terms nanolines and nanoessence. Zack is visibly unimpressed, which prompts an awkward exchange. Zack questions his own appearance, feeling uneasy about his new face. Maya reassures him. Personally, I think you're quite handsome. Zack hurriedly walks away from this awkward display. Without a word, he suddenly dashes off, prompting Maya to follow. He stops abruptly, shouting, Why are you following me? He holds her by the forehead and pushes her away. Standing by an elevator, Zack demands, Well? Maya insists they're a team and that he can't just go about the world without knowing anything. Zack remains skeptical, telling her, I never said I'd team up with you. Get lost, as he presses the elevator button. Maya is determined, trying to convince him. He vows to find his targets himself as the elevator doors slam shut. A few moments later, they're both in the elevator heading down. She asserts they will inevitably attract more assassins but adds they can utilize decoys and bait she has set up. She advises they need to lay low and hide, as there is still much about the world he doesn't know. Maya, enthusiastic as ever, offers, I can help you learn. Suddenly, he grabs her by the collar, yelling, You just keep rambling on and on. I don't need you. He sneers in anger, stating, I hate the way you act. I can't trust you for a second. Maya asks if the way she acts reminds him of his wife, causing Zack's eyes to widen in shock. In a fit of rage, he demands, What do you know? Maya desperately tries to deflect and brings up the story about Zack's death. The story was that he was betrayed and his wife died in his arms, and he fought off thousands of assassins before succumbing to his own death. Maya lies and tells him that she only knows this through the stories. Zack, gritting his teeth, seethes with suppressed emotion. As the elevator dings open, he storms out and shoves Maya to the ground. Let's get one thing straight, don't ever mention her again, he commands angrily. Maya nervously agrees, relieved that she wasn't discovered. Zack ponders, noting that Maya is the only one aware of his return. Why shouldn't he just kill her here? Maya, despite Zack's threats, insists, No matter what you say. She explains that Zack will need her help to navigate the world and find his targets. Her confidence unwavering, she declares, You do need me. Zack's piercing red eyes narrow, questioning her. As Maya walks away, she educates Zack about the powerful assassins he's up against. These individuals, the top 5 assassins on Earth, are nearly impossible to locate without assistance. Their only hope lies in the assassin banquets. Zack is confused about the term, to which Maya responds it's an assassin gathering where they raise their ranks through battles. Zack finds the idea ludicrous, but Maya confirms its creator. Maya passionately persuades that he should let her help him, emphasizing he has nothing to lose. Zack is momentarily silent. Finally, Zack begrudgingly accepts, but warns her to prove her worth or else. Maya seems hopeful about supporting Zack, and relieved that she can stand by his side even if it's like this. He reasons it's wise to stay with Maya for now to gather the information he needs. Zack, his expression icy and determined, resolves. I'll ditch her as soon as I have what I want. He then inquires about the plan. Enthusiastically, she states that they need to go to somewhere, to the place where Zack died. According to history, the strongest assassin, the Black, died heroically fighting thousands. He didn't let out his last breath until his enemies were all slain beneath his feet. And even then, his lifeless body stood ready to take on whoever else dared to challenge him. Today, a memorial stands tall in honor of the Black's ultimate sacrifice. Zack examines the monument unbelievingly, as Maya grins. So, what do you think? It's quite something, isn't it? She says. Maya goes on to say that many people admire and respect the person commemorated in the monument. They all come here often to leave offerings, pay respects, pray, or simply reminisce. The existence of this statue reminds them of a simpler time, a time where death was inevitable for us all, instead of a choice. She finishes. With clenched fists, Zack murmurs, They fabricated my death and used it for their own ends. He kicks the rail in frustration. An assassin shouldn't be openly admired. They were tools. Weapons to deliver death and misery, not some sport to be enjoyed. Suddenly, 2 guards rush over. Hey! Step aside! You shouldn't kick the railing! Show some respect! They command. Zack's anger flares as he fixes his fierce gaze on them. The guards, intimidated, quickly retract their words and make a hasty exit. Zack's outburst leaves Maya momentarily speechless, but just then, a voice interrupts. Hey, mister! A young girl calls out. She approaches Zack, unfazed by his intimidating aura. Why are you upset, mister? Do you have a tummy ache? She innocently asks. Zack's red eyes narrow in confusion and slight irritation at the questions. Reaching out slowly, he contemplates how to respond. Maya intervenes at this moment. Yes, in fact. She starts. This poor man is in quite a lot of pain, you know. His stomach, his head, his heart, even his bum hurts. She explains cheerfully. At that moment, her father arrives. Oh, I'm sorry about her. She just ran off, he says. It's okay, she's a sweetheart, Maya assures him. Feel better soon, mister, the girl adds as they walk away. Zack watches them go, deep in thought, as Maya waves them goodbye. Noticing Zack's reflective mood, Maya teases. You're not very good with kids, are you? Maya remembers their first encounter, and how uncomfortable it was for him. Was it because I was a kid too back then? A realization dawns on her. Forget that, it's about time you told me why you're so willing to help, he demands, pulling her back to the present. Maya sighs. Always so serious, fine. You didn't think you were the only victim of King and his schemes, did you? She questions. I finally managed to get free after decades of manipulation and abuse, but there is no way I can live my life knowing full well he's doing it to other people too. Zack listens as Maya's resolve intertwines with his own. Her determination to settle her own score with King solidifies their partnership. Zack asks, Are you his secret daughter or something? Maya scoffs at the notion. You think that guy would let any daughters live? She retorts. As they strategize, Zack acknowledges Maya's detailed plan. Bringing me back was the first step toward taking him down. Let's go, I'll explain on the way, Maya says. They walk down the steps, leaving the monument behind. They head to a bustling shopping area. Like I said before, our best bet is the assassin banquets, Maya insists. Specifically, King's Banquet. He hosts it every year, and it's the only time and place you can find the top 32 assassins together. She continues. We would need to raise our ranks to one of the top 32 to be invited. Zack grumpily asks why he was given a crepe. Maya tells him he hasn't eaten in centuries and to just eat it. As they walk through the city, they continue discussing their plans. How do we raise our rank? Zack inquires. Maya says they have to take out one of the top 32 and she already had someone in mind. How would you like to take on the one holding the rank 5, Rook himself? She suggests. It strikes a nerve as Zack growls. You already know where he is? With a determined edge, Maya continues. I've heard rumors of Rook taking part in underground fighting rings, incognito. We can start there and gather information on the others. She plans. The word Rook sends rage through Zack. Yeah, we can start with him. I'll make him pay first, he snarls. Maya reminds him that he still needs time to get used to his body. But Zack is resolved. I'm fine, I have everything I need. Maya suggests they head to the hideout first so he can meet the rest of the team. Zack's vow resonates deeply as he recalls the injustices. He seethes with anger. You used our deaths to further your own plans and live a life of pleasure and luxury. No matter how long it takes me, I'll definitely send you all to the black, he swears. In an arena in another part of the city, a brutal underground fight has just ended. With fists raised high, a sinister voice echoes. Isn't there anyone who is strong enough to fight me? A towering figure takes center stage, his voice booming through the cavernous space. That's fine. Seeing all you weaklings try so hard is pretty fun too, he bellows. Maya and Zack enter an unremarkable apartment building. Are you excited to meet them? Maya asks as they walk inside. Zack replies gruffly. I already told you, I'm barely stomaching you. Don't push your luck. Don't be like that. I know you prefer to work alone, she says, a little bit hurt. She pauses as they reach a door with a futuristic lock. But if you want to get to Rook and the others, we'll need some help. She trails off, swiping her wristband against the scanner. Try to play nice, Maya advises with a smile. You owe them that much. Even though you didn't see it, they played a big part in bringing you back. Maya reassures Zack. So don't worry, our allies are determined to help you. We all want the same thing here. Besides, you'll notice they're just fun to have around. As they step in, one figure lounges on a couch, while another is meditating on the floor. A third one is hanging upside down from the ceiling. I can't focus on meditating if you keep bothering me, grandmother, says the one on the floor. The girl is shocked at the term. Yatsuba! I told you not to call me that, she exclaims, messing with Yatsuba's hair. Yatsuba's calm demeanor persists despite her antics. Please don't do that, great-grandmother. Are you ashamed of being my great-great-great-grandmother? Yatsuba quips, causing Ruri to fume. Maya and Zack exchange glances. Introducing himself with a dramatic entrance, Ace hangs upside down, then steps down from the ceiling. He approaches the group, expression unfazed. Ignore them. They're just weirdos, he says, earning a low growl from Maya. Zack walks away, leaving Maya to call after him in frustration. A few minutes later, Ace looks serious. Ruri looks unimpressed, Yatsuba stern. Maya clears her throat. Let's try this again, she declares to everyone now seated in the lounge. She introduces Yatsuba Yamakumo, who reached rank 77 very quickly despite being only 25 years old. Ruri Yamakumo is rank 49 and almost 200 years old. Ace stands back, arms crossed. This is Ace, rank 69 on the assassin charts, Maya introduces. Ace and Zack glare at each other. Maya eagerly introduces Zack. This is the legend, the Black. Resurrected in the flesh. She realizes the need for a cover name, pondering aloud. Scenes of the past flow through Zack's mind, memories of Eva, now gone. With her gone, it doesn't matter anymore, thinks. You can call me Zack, he declares. Determined, he conveys. The name should serve as a good reminder of why I'm still here. Maya is skeptical. That was fast. Are you sure? She asks. Zack's patience thins. Lay out your plan to find King and the others, now. Maya nervously swallows. Go ahead and start, I'll get some drinks, Ace offers. She begins outlining the plan. Their target was Rook, currently at rank 5. If one of them is able to beat him, it will secure an invite to King's banquet. 2 teams are formed, Team A to face Rook, comprising Ruri, Yatsuba, and Zack. Team B, Maya and Ace, to gather intelligence. Maya's enthusiastically asks if they had any questions. Zack disregards the plan. Do what you want. I'll kill Rook when I see him. You better get me the locations of the others in the meantime. Ruri steps forward. Yatsuba tries to stop her, but she proceeds to tell Zack off for being disrespectful to everyone. Zack addresses her bluntly. Suddenly, your age is fine since it's convenient for you, huh? Maybe it's time I send an old hag on her way, after all. He turns back suddenly and shields from an attack. Ace interjects. I've held my tongue so far, but I won't let you disrespect or threaten my allies. Maya, shocked, yells. Ace, don't. Ace challenges Zack's ability and questions if he was worth the trouble. Zack doesn't back down and calls him arrogant little sh. Maya mediates. Enough! If you have to fight, do it in the training room, pushing them apart. As the scene shifts to the training room, Zack and Ace stand face to face, with Maya's team watching from the sidelines. Ruri gives Maya a slap on the back, telling her not to act like a nervous wreck. Maya nervously affirms. Ace throws up his challenge. He taunts Zack for just evading. He can't believe that Zack used to be his hero. Revealing the truth about Zack's demise, Ace rattles him. A pathetic death, powerless to even protect your wife. Maya is shocked at this insult. Bringing up the memory of Eva awakens something in Zack. You're dead, he whispers, as all the rage inside him is unleashed. Ace contemplates on his past. Ever since I was a kid, I heard the stories about the legendary assassin. He idolized this figure for fighting back against his fate and refusing to succumb until all his enemies were vanquished. After learning how he really died, however, I couldn't accept it. It felt like a betrayal. He thinks, his heart aching with loss. Firm now in his resolve, Ace declares, I'm not going to stand idly by again and let anyone threaten my family. With energy swirling around him, Ace stands ready. As he confronts the opposition angrily. So, you managed to make nano-weapons after all. That's still not going to help you, he yells. Even if you were my hero once. Zack is engulfed in a shroud of shadows, a sinister presence dominating the scene. I don't quite get it, but I'll kill you with these either way, Zack shouts, blades flashing with deadly intent. He did it! He actually did it! Maya says in surprise as Zack has regenerated his weapons using nanoessence. I guess he isn't the best for nothing, huh? Ruri comments. Even so, this is even faster than you managed to do it, right my dear cute grandson? Yatsuba agrees, saying it usually takes years to reach this kind of mastery. At this rate, there is no doubt he will reclaim his position as the top one before long, as the best assassin on this planet, Yatsuba adds. The battle intensifies, with Ace refusing to let his opponent get close. Zack throws his knife, but Ace stands firm, yelling, Not gonna happen! As he materializes a serpent-shaped shield. Zack's black knife slices through the serpent shield easily. Ace's eyes widen in shock. Zack closes in quickly. You were saying? He taunts as he throws another knife. Ace tries another powerful counter, harnessing his nano-essence, but it is useless against Zack. The other two! Panic creeping into his voice. Zack's speed is undeniable as Ace is unable to keep up with him. Hovering above and aiming his attack, the enemy's intentions are clear. Running away now? He taunts Ace. Ace exclaims defiantly. If I can't block you, I'll just keep attacking you. His opponent mockingly replies. That's all you got? As he generates another weapon to block off Ace's attacks. Ace is shocked that Zack's nanoessence is able to deflect his attacks when earlier it easily pierced through it. Die! Zack roars with a final, fierce strike. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, Yatsuba springs into action. A huge explosion follows. A glowing green nanoessence sword has shielded Ace from the attack merely inches from his head. Zack threateningly asks Yatsuba to step back or get killed. With all due respect, I can't let you kill my friend, Yatsuba declares firmly. The unexpected appearance throws everyone off, especially the observing Maya and a stunned Ruri. Zack warns, I'm not sure how you stopped my attack so quickly, but I won't let it slide if you keep standing in my way. You exaggerate. I've just always been lucky, ever since I was a kid. Yatsuba counters, downplaying his abilities. Zack replies, I doubt that was luck. She said your rank was 77, if memory serves. You're actually the strongest one here, aren't you? Ruri shouts from the sidelines. You're darn right. That's my genius grandson. Kick his ass, Yatsuba. But Yatsuba, humble and mindful, replies, You give me too much credit. I'm just lucky. Putting that aside, please step away from my friend. Zack steps back reluctantly. Fine, but this isn't over. Yatsuba tells Maya to tend to Ace. Under his breath, the enemy mutters. You think you can handle me? Yatsuba rationalizes that if they fight, none of them will be able to against Rook when the time comes. Zack contemplates this. Yatsuba continues that it must be difficult to trust them after his betrayal. But despite us reviving you for our own ends, we do genuinely want to help you. He continues to explain. Lady Maya has done everything in her power to get a hold of your nano core and a good compatible bioengineered body. All for the purpose of reviving and helping you. Lastly, reminding him of his purpose, Yatsuba makes a last argument. Consider this, if we had not revived you, you and your wife would have gone unavenged. Yatsuba emphasizes. You would have stayed dead, and King and his allies would continue to torment people for centuries to come. Finally, Yatsuba asks Zack. Would you have preferred that outcome? Or are you able to find it in you to accept your current predicament and see us as allies? Yatsuba declares that they are willing to die in order to destroy Caspa Industries, but not like this. Remember who your true enemy is. King's laughing face flashes through Zack's mind. And he also remembers Eva's smile. Zack clutches his head. Fine. The team all look at him silently. With fierce warning, Zack declares, Next time any of you disrespects me or mentions my wife, I'll kill you no matter what. Understand? The tension lightens briefly, with Maya sighing in relief. Zack bellows at Maya when Rook will be at the fight. Surprised, she answers, "Yes. In 3 days, sir." 3 days. I won't wait more than that. Make your preparations in the meantime and be ready, he commands. The scene transitions to a towering building looming over the metropolis. A man is discussing business with someone over the phone, strong-arming the caller into an agreement. "Checkmate in 3, what a bore," he says while moving an illuminated chess piece on a board. An employee comes into his office. "Sir, we have a report about the 8th pawn. He was found dead, with his nanocore shattered into pieces." The figure looks out ecstatically out his window. Finally! I can't wait!" The next day at the hideout, Zack is in the gym, nearing the end of an intense workout. He's doing push-ups, counting down the last few reps. 29.97. He mutters to himself. Determined, he continues. 29.98. With sweat pouring down, he reaches 29.99. And finally, 3,000. Immediately, Zack leaps up, pushing off the ground with considerable force. He lands perfectly, ready for another challenge. With fierce energy, he jumps again, using the momentum to elevate higher. His movements are quick and precise, as he continues to jump from one platform to another. High in the air, he shifts his focus and prepares for an attack. With a loud shout, he lunges down towards the punching bag, delivering a powerful kick that resonates throughout the room. As the bag swings violently, showcasing the tremendous force behind his kick, Zack stands there, catching his breath. Zack looks up as someone enters the room, throwing him a canned drink. Zack catches it effortlessly and inspects it, asking, "What is this?" Ace explains, "It's a protein drink, my favorite actually." Zack, still skeptical, demands, "What do you want?" Ace tries to patch things up, mentioning that they got off on the wrong foot yesterday. Zack listens quietly while Ace continues apologizing, admitting he said things he shouldn't have. Ace acknowledges that Zack must still be processing everything, considering what they've gone through. While Zack continues training, Ace stands to the side, staring at him silently. Frustrated by Zack's silence, Ace snaps, showing his irritation. "Say something, will ya? I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve here," he shouts. Zack silently rushes towards him, and delivers a powerful punch to his face. Ace crashes into the wall. As he recovers, he introspects. I guess he's still mad. Was he pretending yesterday when he stepped down? Standing up, Ace wipes the blood from his nose. Zack says, "There, we're even now." With a dangerous look, he warns, "But if you do that again, I will send you to the black." Ace, visibly shaken, responds, "Yeah." Zack picks up the drink and asks why Ace was so loyal to the others. "You got upset for their sakes, not yours." Ace explains that they were his family. He's determined to protect them, no matter what. Zack, taking a seat, acknowledges their shared enemy and his priorities. Zack, now curious, asks, "You're that close to them?" Ace starts recounting the tragedies his teammates faced. He explains Ruri's history, how she was forced to live outside her family estates for centuries. They treated her like an ancestral burden, and yet exploiting her for their benefit. Isolated from even her descendants, she found solace only when Yatsuba came along, changing her fate. Yatsuba himself was abandoned by their family because of a terminal disease. But with Ruri's help, he managed to survive and even transition to a healthy bioengineered body. However, their family's reaction was harsh. They were thrown out, and their estates were sold to their enemy, King. Since then, they've been working together to take back what's theirs. He switches to Maya's story, explaining how she was manipulated by King. It's a relief to see her standing strong now. Ace asks Zack to cut them some slack, recognizing their hardships. Zack notices Ace avoiding talking about his story. Zack, standing up, says he understands where he is coming from. But there was one thing Ace misunderstood about him. "There will be no closure for me," Zack declares. With grim determination, he vows to make all his enemies suffer before he breaks their cores. Meanwhile, Ruri invites Yatsuba to go get some ice cream, but he sees it as a distraction from their mission against Rook. They argue playfully for a bit. Maya steps in, urging them to stop fooling around and focus. She scolds Ruri to stop using such old-fashioned phrases, and Ruri counters that she's just as old as them. Maya warns Ruri to be careful with her words in case Zack hears them. Ruri assures Maya he's in the training room and asks if he will be ready to fight Rook in 2 days. They discuss Zack's nano essence, which seemed to be different from all others. His was colored black, which they had never seen before. And it was able to pierce through others' nano essences at will. Maya expresses concern over Zack's future, given his abilities. However, Yatsuba remains confident in his victory. The scene shifts to the underground fighting stadium, buzzing with energy as spectators cheer loudly. A figure steps forward onto the stage, calling out for new fighters to sign up. "I'll make you all a proposition!" A bold voice echoes through the bustling crowd of the underground fighting stadium. The crowd, a mix of varied and intense individuals, perks up instantly, eyes wide with curiosity and anticipation. Rector the Indomitable, real name Rook, who is currently rank 5, thunders. "There aren't many slots left. Whoever lands a single hit on me gets to sign up first. You're all free to come at me together." As the three of them arrive, Ruri exclaims, "What the heck is going on? The fight shouldn't have started yet." Samyan nearby explains. It seems Rook was impatient. He offered them spots in the remaining empty positions if they land a hit on him. It's a first come, first served kind of deal, but no one has managed to do it yet. Ruri asks who he was. He introduces himself as Jesse Seth, the executioner of judges, rank 33. Jesse chuckles. "I'm just a spectator today, little lady. Have a colleague down there, you see." Zach's face hardens as he locks his eyes on Rook. Ruri is smitten by being called a little lady. But Zach already has his eyes on the arena. An announcer calls out the fighters. First is Nora, the Radiant Fist, rank 50. There was also Kirasame, Vanishing Mist, rank 44. And lastly, there's Rook, boasting with air of superiority. "Don't hold back," Ruri comments. "That guy isn't acting incognito at all." Suddenly, a flashback hits, Rook's laugh echoing hauntingly, memories of a bloody scene returning to Zach's mind. Darkness surrounds him, fist clenching. He steps forward and starts to approach the arena, eyes blazing. "I'm going to kill him now." "Yatsuba!" Ruri barks. He responds, "On it!" Jesse watches curiously. Yatsuba blocks the way as Ruri jumps on Zach. "Don't do it! Remember what Maya said!" Maya had emphasized. "If you do something now, we miss the chance to figure out where the others will be next." Zach roars angrily. "You want me to just sit around and wait while he's right in front of me?" Ruri reminds him sharply. "You'll get a chance to fight him in the ring. Maya already registered you as an assassin." The two argue a bit more, before Yatsuba calmly lifts Ruri off, and places her on his shoulders. Jesse's ears prick up. "I couldn't help but overhear, but you said you were already signed up, yes?" Ruri realizes how careless they were, and responds nonsensically. "Hey you! I don't mind how much did you hear. But these guys just like to make fun of me. I'm not that old, understand? Completely nimble and ready to mingle." The other two are speechless. Jesse laughs. "I don't doubt it, little lady. Just be sure to take it easy on my colleague down there, will you?" Their attention shifts to Jesse's friend in the arena. Nora still hasn't been able to land a hit on Rook. She's already signed up. That ninja fellow too. They just wanted to have some fun. Jesse explains with a smile. They discuss the fight some more before they are interrupted by a loud beep. The commentator's voice blares over the excited audience. "Are you lowlifes ready? Here is the bracket for today's special party." The screen displays a list of matchups. "Finally!" Rook smiles sinisterly. The commentator eagerly announces. "Clear the arena, you maggots! We'll be starting in 30 minutes with the first fight." Ruri jokingly taunts Zach that Yatsuba will be taking Rook down before he gets the chance to. Zach counters that either way, Rook will not be leaving this place alive. The commentator's voice blares once more. "It's time for a death battle!" as the arena gates close. "The first fight is between two hotties. Let's get this catfight rolling, shall we?" The crowd hushes as Ruri and Gigi step into the arena. All the other fighters settle down to watch. As Ruri takes her stand, the commentator introduces them. "On one side, we have the renowned cloud cutter, Ruri Yamakumo, rank 49. On the other side, we have a stunning beauty beloved by many, Gigi Fox, the supple beauty, rank 55. Gigi taunts Ruri about her age. Ruri retorts sharply. "I'm surprised you're risking that skin of yours. It won't be as pretty when I'm done with you." Gigi flashes a smile as she steps forward confidently. The commentator urges them on. "Now that the hissing and advertising are over, hit the bell and let's see those claws." The crowd roars as they clash. Ruri transformation is akin to a feral cat lunging for its prey. Gigi, determined not to be overshadowed, escalates. "It's time for old grannies like you to retire already." The air is electric. Ruri leaps with an astonishing speed, leaving Gigi scrambling to keep up. Ruri slashes with her powerful claws, then declares, "Stop talking. You bore me to death." The commentator can hardly believe what he's seeing. Ruri completely blitzed her opponent. Will this be the end of the first match? Let's start the countdown. Cheers erupt from the spectators. "That was fast," Zach comments, his eyes still trained on the fight. Yatsuba explains. "Grandmother may joke around often, but when in a fight she does her utmost to win as fast as possible." Meanwhile, Ruri surveys the crowd for the stud from before, wondering if he saw how strong she's become. But the countdown is interrupted at 3. Oh? What's this? Don't get cocky, you old fossil, Gigi says as her slashed body parts reassemble themselves magically. Ruri looks on in shock. Gigi laughs. This body is made of a special material from Mars. It can put itself together as many times as it needs to. Are you surprised? The commentator is ecstatic. Did you all hear that? This match is just getting started. Zack is shocked. Mars? And Yatsuba grimly notes. Grandmother is not going to like these turn of events. Ruri sneers. You're making me look bad here. My rank won't even change after beating you. But Gigi isn't cowed. You say that as if your win is guaranteed. As they charge towards each other. The commentator chimes. Wow, that's freaky. As Gigi's fingernails extend. They shoot towards Ruri like a machine gun bullets slicing through the air. Ruri dodges, cursing. The blasts continue. What's wrong? Cat got your tongue now? Ruri does her best to dodge all of her opponent's attacks. She's using ranged attacks to keep me at a distance. I have to get close to her somehow. Ruri thinks. Suddenly, an opportunity presents itself and she grins. With a loud bang, she sets up a smoke screen. Gigi declares, You can't hide, pulling off another strike. The figure then notices something off behind her. You're not getting away either. Gigi turns to attack the shadow. What? She exclaims. It's Ruri's jacket, but the rest is just nano essence. Zack questions, You can do that? Yatsuba replies, Not everyone can. Grandmother has exceptional control over her nano essence, having had 2 centuries to refine it. Yatsuba reveals. However, that was only a diversion. The commentator yells. Cat Lady is quickly turning everything around. Indeed, Ruri seems to be closing the gap. Gigi turns, prepared as ever. With fury, Ruri roars. Eat this! Gigi's cheeks fill up quickly. Ruri stops mid-lunge, only to be met with a slime attack that streaks across her face. She hits the ground. You thought I was keeping you at a distance because I couldn't do anything at close range, didn't you? Gigi taunts. Shouldn't you be wiser at your age? Ruri stands, surprised but undeterred, muttering. What is this? Her anger flares. You little bee! What do you think you're doing? She shouts. Cleaning up! Gigi declares while slamming her back with a kick. From the sidelines, Zack muses if Ruri will be fine. Yatsuba is confident of it. Enraged, Ruri stomps. That's it. You're dead. Deader than dead. You're not making any sense, just give up. Gigi counters. But suddenly her eyes widen. I'm not holding back against you anymore. Ruri declares, releasing her full power. Gigi is shocked at the amount of nanoessence in such a small body. Ruri announces, I'll make you pay, and the terrified figure readies a defensive shield. Ruri unleashes a mighty slash. Try to recover from that, she yells. The commentator confirms her victory. With that, the winner is Ruri Yamakumo. Her defeated opponent lies scattered on the ground. Ruri rushes back to the team, her playful self returning. The announcer calls. Next match features Nora, rank 50, against a new unranked assassin. He hypes up the arena as a place that a newbie can go up against top-ranked assassins. Zack asks why. Yatsuba explains that even if it's impossible to win, it's a way for new assassins to get their name out there. But I have a feeling today will be different. Yatsuba finishes. Zack steps up to the arena. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the stadium, under a shroud of darkness, a mysterious figure sits ominously. In the room stand Maya and Ace, looking tense as they face the figure. Mina, known as Scarlet's Sweetheart and rank 7, confidently addresses them while relaxing in her chair. What did you want from me, expired Empress? She asks. I'm surprised you would reveal your identity to me that easily, considering who is in the stadium right now. Mina muses, clearly intrigued by the situation unfolding. She asks what Rook would do if he found out that the traitor was right there. Maya begins to speak. You might be rank 7 and the most known celebrity on Earth. But even you have things you'd rather not be made public. Mina's confident demeanor falters for a moment. Isn't that right? Maya challenges. Mina asks if Maya was threatening her. Her bodyguards move threateningly closer. Maya then contemplates the stakes involved, recognizing the risk she's taken by engaging Nina in this way. Her thoughts revolve around the sacrifices she's willing to make for the cause, stopping their enemies, even if it means doing things she finds morally wrong. Determined, Maya reaffirms her resolve. Even if it means I have to excuse what I have done, I will do whatever it takes. She takes a deep breath before addressing Mina directly. I did not come here to threaten you, Mina. She continues, saying Mina is smart enough to know that she wouldn't come here empty-handed. She tosses a data stick to Mina. Mina plugs the drive in. The two look wordlessly at each other. Mina views the contents of the drive, and her eyes widen. She slams the desk and threatens to kill them. Maya boldly replies, "You can try, but know this, if any of us die here, that information will be leaked to the public." "You little bee! You would stoop this low?" Mina yells, slamming her fist down with frustration. "I guess you're no different than him after all. King and queen, 2 peas in a pod." Maya clenches her fist at the insult. Ace tries to interject, but Mina snaps her fingers with a swift move, and all her bodyguards' heads explode. This surprises Ace. "Look what you made me do!" Mina growls. "What is it you want?" Maya demands. "Information. Anything that might lead us to one of the top 5, excluding Rook." Mina, still seething, scornfully retorts. "You really think you top 5 are in a world of your own, don't you? But I guess you're not the rank 2 anymore after you abandoned your position." Maya holds her ground. Mina pauses, then adds a new stipulation. "Use your power on my men. Make them forget this conversation ever happened." "You can do that, can't you? With your nano essence." She is hesitant, but Maya knows there's no other choice. Mina senses their hesitation and pushes. "I can't risk any of this leaking out, so that's my condition." "So what will it be?" Maya reluctantly agrees. "This is the only way. I have to do it." But Mina's trust isn't so easily earned. She further warns that if any of this gets out, she will come after Maya and all of her little friends. Ruri glances back with cold determination. "You can try, but if you threaten any of them, I'll kill you. As many times as it takes." Mina finally steps back, the intense exchange leaving her momentarily speechless. Back in the arena, the second match begins. Zack faces off against his opponent, Radiant Fist Nora, who ranks 50. The crowd is buzzing with excitement as the announcer fires up the competition, highlighting Zack as an unranked newcomer. Nora, broad-shouldered and sure of herself, sizes up Zack, tauntingly stating, "Even if you are new to this, sorry, but you won't advance." Zack, determined and focused, calmly instructs her. "Don't talk, just do it." Nora scoffs. "Pretty arrogant considering you're up against rank 50. With a fierce rush, Nora launches herself at Zack, only for him to dodge swiftly, surprising both her and the spectators. Nora is faster than the pawn he fought before, but Zack declares his speed superior, and he proves it by moving even quicker. As they engage, Zack's movements leave a glowing blue trail, his agility unmatched. Nora is forced to acknowledge his skill, readjusting her strategy. Meanwhile, Ruri is confused by his actions. "Why isn't he using his nano essence?" Yatsuba remarks in admiration. "He's challenging himself." Though impressed, he notes, "Even so, without nano essence, there's no way to beat the professional assassins of today." Nora wrestles with her own pride, saying that she wasn't going to hold back anymore, especially since her mentor was watching her. She powers up significantly, her aura glowing brightly around her as she gears up for a serious attack. Observers note how serious Nora has become, warning Zack to be ready. Nora surges forward, blazing with energy, attacking with full force. Zack observes Nora's powerful strike, dodging skillfully. Nora chases after Zack, her movements intense and deliberate. Her ferocity knows no bounds as she drives a shattering kick towards him. The audience, captivated, marvels at Zack's resilience in holding his own against a top-ranked fighter. Moving swiftly, Zack dodges another one of Nora's attacks, her pursuit relentless. She yells, "Why aren't you using your nano essence?" But Zack remains composed. Dodging her fierce attacks again, he remarkably maintains his stance. Nora's frustration grows, and she shouts, "Then I'll make you!" Zack finally retaliates, slapping her incoming punch away with precision. He fights back. "Almost thought he was too scared," the commentator exclaims. Zack's eyes flash, exuding a mysterious power. Nora is momentarily taken aback by what she sees. With newfound momentum, Zack blitzes forward, landing a blow on Nora that sends her flying against the wall. Nora, recovering from the blow, shouts defiantly that her body is specially made to withstand even burning flames. She wonders to herself how someone with such power isn't ranked. Zack, silent and focused, prepares for her next move. Nora then launches herself with a powerful, golden punch. The crowd goes wild as the fight intensifies. Nora's shock is evident when Zack unexpectedly leaps to meet her midair. His speed and agility take her by surprise. Nora prepares to another devastating punch, but is blocked by Zack. "That won't work twice," she declares. Zack instead flips her over. Using her own momentum, he throws her downwards. As she falls, Zack comes at her with his fist, sending her to the ground with a mighty crash. Zack, now towering over Nora, he prepares for the final blow but stops. Nora asks him why. He asserts that he has no reason to kill her and simply wants her to surrender. Nora wonders if her mentor put him up to this. Finally, Nora concedes. I lose. And the fight is over. The audience erupts cheering at the unprecedented victory. The commentator announces that Zack has now moved up to rank 50 without using his nano essence. Ruri and Yatsuba are equally shocked. Ruri remarks that Maya did mention that the skin they stole was a bit special. In the distance, Zack stares at Rook. The two lock eyes for a second, before another player interrupts, telling Zack to get out of the arena. Crow, rank 333, arrogantly announces himself as being the second coming of the legendary Black. He proclaims his destiny to become the new top assassin, just like the legendary Black. The commentator notes that fighters are entering without waiting for the ring to be fixed. Crow's opponent, Kurisumi, ranked 44 and known as the Vanishing Mist, enters the fray. With confidence, Crow rushes in, determined to snatch the higher rank and prove his worth. But in a swift exchange, Kurisumi overwhelms Crow, ending the fight abruptly. On the sidelines, spectators comment on the pro ninja Kurisumi's prowess, and what it means for future matches. Zack urges Yatsuba to hurry up with his fight, but warns him not to kill the next opponent. Rector now enters the ring. The Rector, exuding confidence, challenges Yatsuba with an eerie grin. Let's fight our cores out! The three of them stare at Rector with determination in their eyes. The voice of the ever-cheerful announcer bursts in again. The next match will be starting shortly! Cheers erupt as the crowd eagerly waits. Nora joins Jessie at their seats, with a bunch of snacks from the concession stand. Jessie takes a moment. You don't seem to be too upset about your loss. You went down a rank too. Nora shrugs it off, feeling contemplative about the previous fight's lessons, even recalling how her opponent was shockingly strong for a rookie. She notes that he won without using nano essence at all. Not many assassins are capable of that. He actually reminded her of Jessie, a lot stronger than their rank and like a ticking time bomb ready to explode. Zack jokingly pinches Nora's cheek and retorts. Who are you calling a ticking time bomb? They exchange playful banter but eventually dive back into serious matters. Jessie brings the focus back to the situation. He senses something sinister behind this tournament, predicting it will not last long, and if his instincts are right about Zack, he's going to be a storm that this world isn't ready for. The announcer's voice echoes. All you idiots ready? He introduces Rector, as the one who wins his fights without relying on nano essence. Next he introduces the rookie who has taken the world by storm, Yatsuba Yamakumo, nicknamed the Starving Calamity, rank 77. Facing his opponent, Yatsuba declares, My opponent is Rook, rank 5. One of the ones we are hunting down. Images of his beloved teammates, all victims of Rook, flash through his mind. These people have caused a lot of pain without feeling remorse or guilt for their actions. While he thinks it's a great opportunity for him to advance in rank and get his revenge, he reminds himself that he's doing it as to not put his loved ones at risk. Ruri looks on with worry, whispering, Yatsuba. Rector's bravado is on full display, laughing and taunting Yatsuba to strike first. Yatsuba draws his sword, which is enveloped in green. He says it's not honorable to strike when an opponent's guard is down. But killing a heinous monster is another matter entirely. He is ready to push his bioengineered body beyond limits, even if it's risky. The nano barrier struggles to hold against the insane power. Yatsuba pants heavily but doesn't back down. Even this bioengineered body has its limits, but I'm not even sure that would have been enough. The crowd gasps collectively. Rector almost got hit, and he had to bring out his nanoessence to block it. With uncanny speed, Yatsuba is suddenly behind Rector. What happened? I thought you were going to take my hit without blocking? Are you scared? He asks, pushing Rector back with sheer willpower. Yatsuba's lightning-fast moves leave Rector stunned. He admits that his opponent is strong. The fight commentator exclaims, The rumors are true. The Starving Calamity is no joke. What will he do next? Yatsuba's mind races. Rector is a lot tougher than he thought, but he actually really likes the challenge. Rector's expression shifts to shock, realizing the situation is spiraling out of control. Yatsuba throws his sword with precision, and leaps up into the air. He materializes two more weapons, one in each hand, and swiftly attacks. We should have invested in a more sturdy arena. At this rate, it won't hold for long, frets the announcer. In the background, spectators can hardly contain their excitement, as the arena gets hammered by attacks. Ruri is cheering for Yatsuba. Zack glances at the other spectators, who are admiring Yatsuba's strength. Rector blocks the swords with his nano-essence, and taunts Yatsuba about using the same tactics on him. But it looks like Yatsuba has something up his sleeve. Thoughts course through Yatsuba's mind. If he doesn't win this, Ruri will have to fight Rook after him. This realization drives him towards a bold last stand, with gripping intensity. Yatsuba's mind races. I cannot let that happen, he thinks, eyes blazing with resolve. Yatsuba launches himself forward with a quick attack, his eyes glowing with determination. But whoa, Rector's reaction is lightning fast. Then bam! Rector uses his nano essence and counters with a massive kick. Who the hell do you think I am? He growls, showing off his incredible strength. Yatsuba slams against the arena's wall. I can do this too, you know, Rector says gloatingly. Ruri, watching the whole scene, shouts out, worry for her grandson. Yatsuba! Rector towers over Yatsuba, casting a massive, intimidating shadow. Yatsuba's on the ground, looking pretty beat up. I'm not letting you get back again, brat. You're too dangerous, he tells Yatsuba. Rector launches a flurry of bullet punches. Each punch lands with a devastating impact, driving Yatsuba further into the ground. The crowd goes wild. It's super effective. Things are not looking good for Yatsuba. Should I call the match? The commentator wonders aloud. Flashback to the day before, back at the base, Ace casually checks in on everyone. What's up? Ruri already asleep? Ruri's knocked out and snoring. That's a veteran assassin indeed, not a shred of nervousness. Yatsuba, on the other hand, is restless. He decides to train some more. Ace, showing some unexpected sympathy, gives him a fist bump, telling him that he's strong enough and they'll give them hell tomorrow. Yatsuba smiles weakly, and fist bumps Ace too. As Yatsuba is on his way to the training room, he finds Maya in the dining room, stress-eating. Maya admits she's anxious about tomorrow, and Yatsuba warns her not to eat. Ruri prepared for them. Yatsuba reassures Maya that everyone is gonna do their best tomorrow. She's touched and tells him that she's counting on them too. In the training room, Yatsuba notices that Zack's still training as well. Zack asks him what's up. Yatsuba summons his weapon with a smile. Care for a duel? Interesting. Zack smirks, as he pulls out his weapon too. The duel goes on until the early hours of the morning. Ruri slams the door of the training room open and yells, Yatsuba! She followed by Maya and Ace. Looks like the training room has been smashed to pieces. Both men are lying among the rubble, clearly satisfied with the fight. Ruri gives Yatsuba a scolding about leaving his grandma alone. Maya, obviously annoyed but trying to hide it, tells them they have 7 hours left till the tournament, and tells them to get some sleep. Jumping back to the arena, Rector keeps pummeling Yatsuba. Ruri's encouraging voice echoes through his mind. Finally, Rector lifts him easily off the ground, mocking. You think I'd be scared of a little runt like you? Everyone looks on in shock as Rector wraps his nano essence hand around Yatsuba's neck. Show me how scared you are, your expression of fear. Why should I be scared when I have the upper hand? Yatsuba says with a smile. Rector is quickly on guard. Gathering every ounce of strength, Yatsuba makes a last-ditch attempt. Rector gets a surprising cut from Yatsuba's effort. Everyone is in shock, even the commentator is disbelieving. Rector looks stunned, seeing his own blood for the first time. Yatsuba knows he's pushed his body to its limits. He turns toward Ruri and their eyes meet for a second, and he slowly gives her a low and respectful bow. The crowd is awed by this display of dignity and honor. Perhaps Rector will take pity and spare his nanocore from joining his huge collection. Yatsuba apologizes for his weakness, as Rector steps forward once again. He apologizes to his grandmother, regrets filling his mind. Ruri's voice breaks through, desperate and tearful. The fight's nearing its climax, and Rector advances. Yatsuba thinks about a final wish. His only wish is that Ruri live a healthy and happy life, and says his farewell. Boom! The arena wall explodes. Chaos. Enough of this! I'm done playing these games! Zack yells, stepping into the fray. He remembers the training session he had with Yatsuba just earlier today. A sinister, Rook, escapes Zack's lips as darkness consumes him. In the arena, Rook's hand seizes a glowing green nanocore taken from Yatsuba. What a match! We finally got to see Rector's nano essence! Comes the announcer's enthusiastic commentary. It's a wrap. Rector emerges victorious, no surprises there. He laughs menacingly, claiming his undisputed win, while Yatsuba's body lies lifeless. Zack steps closer toward the arena, fully intending to face off with Rook. I'm ending this now, Zack declares. Where do you think you're going? A figure suddenly appears in front of him, then a sneak attack comes from behind. It's the other player in the game, Kurisame. He tried to distract me from the front with some kind of afterimage and used that time to attack from the back. Not bad, Zack thinks, analyzing the attack. But I don't have time for this, echoes his mind. Get out of my way, he barks. Kurisame coldly rejects. No can do. You're my next opponent. Now show me what you can really do. His stance is arrogant and ready for combat. There's a scream and a flurry of background movement, as the audience try to run away from this impending battle. The announcer yells over the mic. No fighting outside the arena! You're the next match anyway! Wait your turn! Suddenly, another figure enters the arena. Hey, he's mine! Zack cries. The enraged face of Ruri ramps the heat up, scowling. How dare you! How dare you do that to my grandson! She screams. I'll kill you! Rector's dark grin grows wider. Ruri crashes into the arena. Give him back! She yells. Rook taunts. What? This thing? Brandishing the medallion. His expression is a challenge. Come and get it! Ruri's response is instant. Gladly. As she dives into battle. That kid pissed me off at the end, so I obviously killed him! Rook's voice drips with venom as he smashes the ground. Pointing mockingly at Ruri, he continues. If you want to be together so badly, I'll gladly display your core with his. Bwahaha! Ruri charges to meet his gruesome challenge. Take this, says Rook, punching the slab of rock. It shatters into smaller projectiles and is headed right for Ruri. Ruri dodges swiftly but is visibly distressed. Fight me head on, you coward! She challenges him. Rook finds this amusing, bursts into laughter. He provokes. Sure! If that's what you want! Rushing towards each other, charging up. As he closes in on Ruri, he expands his energy fists for an explosive finish. The announcer can't take all the damage anymore and decides to leave. Zack watches the battle from the sidelines. His attention turns back to Karisame. How many times are you going to try the same thing? He clashes with his opponent. Ruri curses as another attack lands on her. Rook laughs maniacally. What's wrong? His punches fly with brutal precision. Pow! 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 The punches are relentless. Rook mocks. Is this all you got? Didn't you want to get his core back? Something snaps. Ruri's eyes burn with anger. Rook comes attacking like an unleashed beast. Wham! Maya takes a hard hit to her stomach. The strength of the punch blows her out of the arena. Zack stops to check what's happening with Ruri. Where are you looking? Karisame's attack nearly lands sneakily. Zack grits his teeth. He's out of options now, and he decides to unleash his nano essence. Nearby, Jesse turns to check out the fight. What's wrong, boss? We should leave, Nora advises. Jesse sees Zack releasing his nano essence. He tells Nora to go ahead. Jesse scans his memories. I've had this feeling since I saw that guy's eyes. I've seen them before, but I never imagined they would exist again. Zack's eyes glow with anger and determination, the darkness consuming him. I have to confirm it. If he has any connection to the black, Jesse declares. I don't have time to waste on you. Zack growls at his opponent. Die. Karisame counters. So, you're finally getting serious. It's about time. He wants to see what our protagonist's been hiding. Bam! Zack moves with insane speed and grabs his face. Before Karisame can react, Zack drags his head against the wall and yeets him. The next thing you know, they're midair, clashing like titans. Then, a sudden burst of energy as Zack releases his nano essence. It's a no-holds-barred fight. Karisame realizes Zack's not a noob at this and releases his nano essence, a series of sharp daggers shaped like kunai knives. Zack deflects easily with his nano essence and lands a powerful hit. Boom! Karisame crashes into the ground with a massive shockwave. Rook feels something unsettling and questions. Who is that? This feeling. The announcer, in a panic, suggests ditching the tournament altogether. Meanwhile, Rook insists. What are you talking about? This isn't over yet. There is a lot of fun to be had. As he looks ready to continue the chaos erupting around him. The announcer laughs and calls it crazy, but he's still gonna keep rolling. There's too much good content. An unexpected turn of events, Ruri emerges from the shattered screen box. Ruri stumbles, and she's falling, no control in sight. She closes her eyes as she recalls Yatsuba. A quick flashback. Yatsuba is warning his grandmother, but she falls off the roof. A younger Yatsuba checks if she's okay. He's squashed under her trying to break the fall, an affectionate exchange follows. Suddenly, Ruri realizes that his nose is bleeding. They share a touching moment, with Yatsuba telling her not to sleep on the rooftop anymore. She's touched when Yatsuba smiles and tells her that he'll always be there for her. She calls him her cutest and best grandson ever. A few more moments flash by. Ruri calls out to Yatsuba. She's falling now and she needs her. But she is snapped back into reality. Rook's taunting her, holding up Yatsuba's nanocore. Let's keep going. Ruri gets her game face on, diving straight into an attack. Rook's laughing maniacally with his powers on max. he easily blocks her attack. Her taunts her some more, but a shadow suddenly appears from behind. Is it one of her clones? Rook wonders. This moment of distraction is enough for Ruri. She dives in from the opposite direction, sword ready. Rook remembers that Yatsuba also had the same move. She yells, "Give it back!" and slices through his defense, and taking his arm off. Yatsuba's nanocore falls. "I got you," Ruri whispers tenderly. She possesses it now, she's overcome with emotion that she was able to get him back. Meanwhile, Rook is in shock, clutching his severed arm, gasps, "My arm!" Before he can pick it up, Ruri kicks it away. "Need a hand?" she growls at him. Rook grits his teeth. His rage is now unhinged, as he lets out an intense roar. Meanwhile, in another part of the building, hurried footsteps tap against the metallic floor. "That doesn't sound good. Let's hurry up, Ace," Maya urges. Ace, desperately out of breath, demands, "What's going on out there?" The two of them charge down the hallway, eyes wide with concern. Ace and Maya push past fleeing civilians, trying to understand what could have caused such a panic. What could have happened for everyone to run away like that? Ace questions. Maya speculates. "I don't know, but it can't be good. Perhaps Zack just lost his temper when he saw Rook after all." She continues, "Can't say I can blame him, but I was hoping he could hold out a bit longer." Determined, Maya exclaims, "Anyway, let's just hurry!" And they sprint down the hallway. Suddenly, a tremendous crash rocks the facility, and they see debris swirling in a vortex of purple energy. Jesse appears amidst the chaos, analyzing the combat in progress. The man's fighting style isn't like today's assassins, and he reminded Jesse so much of someone he knew. Zack stands, a formidable figure silhouetted against the chaos, sword drawn as if challenging the very storm around him. "Who are you really?" Jesse wonders out loud. Zack's focus is unwavering, a glimpse of fierce determination visible in his eyes. Kirisame uses another clone attack. But Zack quickly wipes it out with his nano essence. "No more tricks!" he shouts, voice warped with rage. Kirisame curses. Then, the story rewinds slightly. A few moments earlier, Ruri has just sliced off Rook's arm. "Need a hand?" The response is a guttural, enraged roar. Flames of vengeance ignite in Rook's eyes as he howls. "You take my arm!" Ruri reacts in shock, and prepares for a counter-assault. Rook's nanoessence grabs Ruri before she could react, and starts punching. A brutal melee ensues. Quick blows land, tearing at flesh and drawing blood. Rook revels in his power. "You think you can beat me? Did you forget who I am? I am rank 5. I am Rook," he declares, power radiating from his form. "How do you like that, huh?" Rook yells at Ruri. "You're still holding that despite all that damage?" Rook sneers as Ruri refuses to let go of Yatsuba's core. "Well, you can both die together then," attacking with renewed fury. His fist closes in for the killing blow. Suddenly, an unexpected object disrupts the attack. There's not enough time to react. Kirisame whizzes past Rook. The force brutally tears his other arm off. And Kirisame crashes against the arena. Fear flashes across Rook's face. No. Not again. The realization that he has lost both arms dawns on him grimly. Rook's severed arm releases Ruri. She falls, incapable of fighting anymore. But someone catches her. "Yatsuba," she calls. Zack has her in his arms. She pleads with him, holding out Yatsuba's core. Maya and Ace arrive at the scene. They survey the devastation before them. Their eyes lock on Zack holding a dying Ruri, and can't contain their shock. Ruri's form lies limp in Zack's arms, while Zack holds up Yatsuba's core quietly. Remembering how he destroyed an opponent's core before, Maya pleads. "Wait. Please don't." "He fought bravely," Zack murmurs. A tender flashback of happier times. "They both did," he continues somberly. Zack declares that they didn't deserve to meet their end today. He takes a step forward into the arena, leaving behind Ruri and Yatsuba for Maya to care for. Maya recalls a moment with Ruri. Tears flow freely as all their moments come flooding in. "What are you going to do?" Ace calls after Zack. His response is determined. In the arena, Rook remembers a haunting trauma from the past. "How dare you make me remember that? You're dead," he thunders. Zack also has his own flashbacks, thinking of the two he just lost. And finally a bright image of Eva. "Dead?" Zack growls menacingly as he steps into the arena. "Yes, I am." His unmistakable, formidable presence emerges in a tornado of dark energy. Meanwhile, Rook is having another flashback. Someone's grooving to the tunes, admiring his bro's soothing voice. Two guys, Rook and Big Brother, are chatting about the future. Rook's got messed up arms, but the dude's hopeful. He believes things will get better despite everything that happened. His bro swears to protect him until he can stand on his own. Now, this blue-haired guy, he's giving some solid life advice. Don't turn your back to an enemy. And fight whoever's in your way head on. Back to the present. Rook is super pumped up in this gnarly fight, facing this Zack with red fists of fury. But wait, Zack slices through those massive fists like butter. Rook freaks out. He gets tossed around, landing a bit rough, and next thing you know, he's bleeding, questioning how anyone broke through his invincible skin. This powerhouse is jolted, claiming only a rank 10 and above could have a chance against him. And yet I meet 3 in one day. Someone's having a real bad day. Rook falls to his knees, bleeding. Zack just watches silently, his nano essence radiating out of him like mist. Rook's baffled, asking, "Who are you?" But bam! Another hit. Rook's looking roughed up now. Zack tells him to get up. He gestures for Rook to get up. You don't say no to that. Rook struggles to get up but still threatening that he's going to kill everyone connected to Zack. Wham! Yet another hit. Rook's getting thrown like a rag doll. Poor Rook's bent over. He feels in his gut that there's something seriously wrong going on. There shouldn't be anyone this strong on Earth except for them, the top 5. Spare me your empty threats. Zack replies. We're far from done here. Rook's sweating, speechless. Maya watches the fight from the sidelines. She sadly thinks about Rook, how he wasn't always the sharpest tool in the shed. After all this, he still hasn't figured out who Zack was. Maya remembers Rook from the past, being nice, but then transforming, wanting to be stronger, taking orders from king and knight. Eventually, Rook wanted more power even if it meant hurting other people. And he lost his humanity. Maya laments that it must have pushed Rook even further into madness when Maya left, and was replaced by someone else, not him. Maya's somber reflection ends. She's sorry that it had to be Rook who got to face the Black's wrath first. Ace suddenly turns. Maya, behind you! He shouts. It's Afro Goofy, the announcer and top social influencer, going on the attack. He's onto them, and he can't allow Rook lose here, as enticing as it was to stream. Maya's too fast for Afro Goofy and slices him before he could land a blow. Maya coldly declares, "No assassin should talk this much." Ace barely gets to react, realizing the danger looming. Trouble's written all over his face. Oh, it was actually a hologram. Afro Goofy is bewildered, calling them a group monsters for wreaking so much havoc. He calls them all out. First was Yatsuba, who was able to force Rook to use his nano essence. Then there was the old hag who was able to cut through Rook's skin. Then there was Maya who was able to block an attack from him, a rank 20. And of course, lastly, Afro Goofy mentions the mysterious guy in black who just broke every rule in the arena. He probably tells them that he was the world's biggest streamer, and nothing escaped him. Maya tells him to cut it out, and leave here for his safety. But Afro Goofy insists on staying. He declares Rook has only been fighting at 50% power this whole time. He snaps his fingers and little golden discs fly up in the air, challenging them to a fight. Suddenly, gunshots rock the place, and Afro Goofy's flying discs all explode. Panicking, Goofy exclaims retirement mid-fight, leaving the chaos behind. A shadowy figure enters. It's Jesse. Don't take your eyes off the prize, he tells them as he reloads his guns. He tells them they shouldn't be focusing on him. Back inside the arena, another massive explosion. What now? Ace asks, not at all prepared for more escalation. Rook has taken off his limiters, disregarding King's wrath. He's unleashed his maximum power, claiming, "No more games. Power builds. Limit break," he roars. Zack's watching everything from the darkness. Looks like this fight is far from done. Rook steps back into the fight with even more massive energy. Maya and Ace stand petrified, staring at the sheer chaos before them. Ace yells, "He took off his limiter? We need to get a safe distance away," Maya says. Rook is now an unstoppable force, demolishing everything in sight. There's no calming either of them down, so they decide on the only plan they have left: evacuation. Zack stands menacingly, darkness swirling around him like an aura of destruction. His gaze is cold and unyielding. "Who are you?" Rook questions, baffled by this unexpected adversary. Zack responds coldly. "Shut up." Rook retaliates, "Make me?" They stare each other down for a few seconds before Zack delivers a punch that lands with bone-crushing force, but Rook's nano-essence was able to block it. His gaze sharpens, full of resolve. Rook slams Zack's head to the ground. He grins ominously, enjoying the fight, but the tides are turning. With a powerful kick to the gut, Zack hits Rook back. It's not enough. With an evil grin, he grabs Zack's head again, and throws him across the arena. "I am Rook. I've slaughtered countless assassins." He boasts that no one has ever come close to killing him, except the top 5. Now what will you do, mystery man? Jesse muses, observing from his vantage point. This is unlike anything anyone has seen. Facing an unrestrained rank 5 is a death sentence. Zack slowly picks himself up, nano essence still blazing. Can you keep up? Jesse wonders. His eyes glow red, a testament to his resolve. Rook offers another chance to Zack, taunting him to try again. With a sinister smile, Rook promises to show Zack true horror. A knife comes flying at Rook. Zack's counterattack catches Rook off guard, and with a decisive grip, Zack steadies himself for another strike. Zack remembers a conversation with Yatsuba in the training room, where Yatsuba explained how he was able to block Zack's nano essence. Yatsuba advises focusing on refining his control over his nano essence so he can make stronger weapons. Zack, back in the present, plans his next move. He attacks from behind. But Rook's anticipated his move and is onto him. Silently, Zack tells Yatsuba that polished and refined really wasn't his style. With a whooshing sound, he conjures up a black dagger. He'd much rather just go wild. With a fierce slash, Zack cuts through Rook's defenses. Rook, bewildered, shouts, "How?" as he struggles to comprehend Zack's strength. Zack delivers another powerful punch, sending Rook crashing to the ground. Jesse watches, astonished, from the sidelines. Is he actually damaging Rook, even with his limiter off? Ace asks incredulously. Maya wonders if it's because of their specially designed skin for Zack or his raw capabilities as a legendary assassin. Zack drops his weapon and walks over to Rook. Rook is visibly worn out, fear beginning to show in his eyes. Zack prepares for the final strike, a shadow of death hanging over Rook. Wait! Rook shouts in desperation, but no mercy is shown. Zack unleashes a flurry of punches, each blow resonating with power. His red eyes burn with an unyielding intensity. Rook, struggling, wonders how Zack continues to cut through his nano essence even with the limiter off. Rook desperately charges with a clenched fist, but Zack's quick movements keep him at bay. He grabs Rook's punch, stopping him mid-attack. Rook is stunned, unable to believe Zack's strength. Zack begins to close in, Rook's energy dimming as he prepares for the inevitable. Zack's relentless attacks throw Rook into the air. Zack watches as Rook crashes down. Who are you? Rook demands. The others watching from a distance are stunned at Zack's power. Meanwhile, one of Afro Goofy's little spies is watching too. A skull-like aura surrounds Zack. Enough of your screaming, he commands. Time to end this. Rook's eyes widen. He recognizes the suffocating feeling of killing intent. And it's like deja vu for Rook. He's feeling the exact same dread he felt back then. The air thickens as he mutters, "You're..." But he's cut off by the sheer presence of Zack's overwhelming aura of death. The Black? Rook exclaims, remembering the sheer terror he felt when they last fought 2 centuries ago. Somewhere in the city, an aircraft coasts through the night sky. King, sir! It seems Rook has taken off his limiter before the awaited banquet. Sir, what do you want us to do? Someone asks. Nothing, King replies. His subordinate presses on. Are you sure? King, holding a glass of wine, muses. Rules are for the masses. Those at the top break them. He gets that eerie look in his eye. And as such, I pass. So, what's your next move? King wonders. Back in the arena, Zack approaches Rook menacingly. Rook can't believe his eyes. That just can't be true. His body trembling with fear, he shouts. You should be dead! As he charges, fists glowing red. But the Zack remains unfazed. Punch after punch, Rook keeps swinging, shouting. Dead? Completely dead and buried. With a powerful blast, Rook nanoessence is torn to shreds. You keep saying that, Zack says in a calm but ominous voice taunts him. You don't even know what it really means. In a flash, Zack knocks Rook down again, hard. Blood splatters as Rook coughs up more. Another blast, and the ground cracks under the force. Ace and Jesse look shocked and concerned. You finally noticed, even after 2 centuries later. Maya murmurs. It seems even you are still traumatized. Rook uses one of his nano hands to steady himself. But his power is running out. His hands have started disintegrating. Desperation shows on Rook's face. Why does he keep damaging me, even after I turn my limiter off? Memories of excruciating pain flood in as Zack steps forward ominously. He remembers Eva, laughing over dinner, a tender smile on his face. A passionate kiss under the lights, then a dark thought intrudes. What do you think happens to a man stripped of his only light, his only reason to live? Zack reflects that the very lid holding the raging darkness within was released that night, and wonders if they even realized what they unleashed. Back to the present, his darkness is uncontrolled pouring out of him. I'll show you what it really means to play with death. In pure terror and desperation, Rook realizes his enemy is here to finish him off. Kill me for good. I have to run. Rook's voice trembles. Rooks desperately flees from the approaching darkness. Zack asks in a chilling voice, "You asked him before, didn't you?" A flashback shows Rook asking Yatsuba to show him fear. Back to the present, Rook's boots skid as he tries to escape. But he's trapped, like a bird before a snake. No mercy in sight, Rook trembles, while his relentless pursuer follows calmly. Musing about the state of modern assassins. Assassins today have forgotten the meaning of it. But you should understand now what true fear feels like. Rook stumbles to the ground, desperately seeking escape. I have to get out of here. His panic peaks. An image of his brother flashes in his mind. Sorry brother, I can't do it. I can't stand up to this monster at all. As the shadow approaches, Rook's terror increases. Suddenly, a new presence blocks his path, causing Rook to look up in sheer horror. Maya's hair turns in the wind. Zack looks at the scene, wondering what's next. Jesse and Ace too look on with anticipation. Maya speaks, voice firm but sad. I can't let you run away, Rook. Rook looks up into her eyes. In another life, long time ago, a woman calls out. Rook, where are you coming from? Don't tell me you actually did it, she yells. Little Queen, it's you, he says. It was Queen, former rank 2, who is now in a new skin and goes by the name Maya. Queen's unimpressed. I haven't been little for over a century now. Can you stop calling me that and answer my question? She snaps back. Rook plays it cool, all apologies. Sorry, just forget about it, okay? But Queen's not letting it slide. No, tell me. Did you kill those people? She demands. Rook's got this guilty look. He can't even meet her eyes. Then he flips out. Enough already. How long are you going to keep playing the righteous hero for? We do what we have to do to survive and protect the ones we really care about. No one else matters. Queen's just done with his excuses. She doesn't say a word, just gives him that steely look. Rook remembers those eyes. It's you, isn't it? You've masked your lines with a different color, but I'd recognize those eyes anywhere. Rook's furious now, calling her a traitor. So, it was you who set all this into motion, traitor. Maya's standing her ground. You're choosing to attack your own family, and for what? Random people you don't know? Rook's not having it. You're a hypocrite. You both are. You for going after the family that protected you for so long. And you for working with her. He points to Zack. Maya's heart skips a beat at the thought of being discovered, but she's not giving up. But it won't work. I'll kill you here and tell King everything. Rook shouts. His fist powers up, and he swings it towards Maya. Maybe you'll understand better after your next reskin, he sneers. But Maya's ready. She doesn't even flinch. Suddenly, a strange energy and a familiar melody wraps around Rook. He's left confused, unsure of what's happening. He finds himself floating in some sort of void, disoriented. Moments with his brother, playing around, carefree swirl past him. Now he's transformed into his original self. Maya's voice cuts through the void. Centuries later, you are still attached to that skin you had back then. You never really wanted to change it. Rook's trying to figure out what the heck is happening. You! What is this place? What are you doing? He yells. Maya drops some heavy info. We've all lived a long time, Rook. I tried my best to steer us in a better direction. But there was nothing she could do against King. He was too powerful. They were all his puppets. What are you talking about, huh? Answer me. Maya responds, almost tenderly. Enjoy the music, Rook. This is the only thing I could do for you now. Rook starts to hum along, recognizing the tune, and forgetting everything else. Huh, what was I just doing? Who cares, this music, it's my brother's old songs. He's totally caught up, his anger fading away. It's so good, as always. But then the nightmare isn't over. Suddenly, everything shatters. The dreamscape is collapsing. Rook's thrown back into reality, confused and desperate. What's going on? He screams. Blood drips from a hand. His nanocore has just been torn out from his chest. He can't believe this is happening to him. Maya stands there silent, watching him come undone. Rook's voice weak, telling her. You know him. He's ready for anything. He'll kill you all, even with me gone, it won't change a thing. But the shadow behind him disagrees. It will change plenty, Zack says as pulls the nanocore out of Rook. Rook collapses, defeated. His last thoughts are desperate. I don't want to die. A memory flashes, his brother singing to him one last time. Zack stands over him, hands bloody, silent but resolute. Enjoy the black, he says chillingly as he crushes Rook's nanocore, causing permadeath. Maya turns away to hide her sadness. Jesse and Ace are shocked at the destruction of the core. A tiny device sees everything. Eva, Zack whispers. Eva's image floats in his mind as he promises to join her after he's done with his vengeance. In the last scene, Eva's asking Zack to listen. She's talking but he can't make it out. Huh? What are you saying? This emotional moment breaks as he gets zapped back to reality. Zack's hit by a bullet and collapses. Armed guards start moving in. Maya and Ace are caught off guard. Afro Goofy dives in for the kill while Zack's guard is down. You destroyed his nano core. You broke the one taboo. For that, you'll die. Maya's horrified, realizing she can't reach him in time. In swift moves, someone steps in. With a forceful kick, Afro Goofy is sent flying across the room. Distressed, Maya and Ace can only watch. Zack looks up at his savior. And the enigmatic figure, wearing a broad hat, approaches, saying, "We need to talk." It's Jesse. The reveal shocks Zack as he meets face to face with the familiar figure. The city's bathed in neon lights and streaking speed lines. Someone's running fast, really fast. Earlier that night, after the guards surround the arena, Maya shouts, "We should head back quickly before this escalates even more." She says. Ace is taking charge. "I'll take Ruri and head home as quickly as possible. I'll leave Yatsuba to you." Maya yells for Zack to come with her. Zack looks at her, red eyes piercing the shadows. "I'll meet you there after I clear my head," he says, vanishing into thin air. Zack makes wild leaps across building rooftops. He's deep in thought about the night's events. He stops to survey the illuminated K Tower in the distance. He can't help but think to himself, the world has changed, and the people with it. Flashbacks of tonight's ruthless tournaments flood his mind, people cheering for assassins, people killing like it was a sport, with no real fear of death anymore. But Rook knew it was going to be permanent. Zack remembers falling to the ground from the gunshot, and he talks to Eva as if she were right there. "Eva, there's something going on." He remembers Jesse coming out of the shadows, calling him by his name. "We need to talk, Zack? Or should I call you by something else?" He teases, letting Zack know that he knows who he really is. Zack's trying to keep calm, his blood-stained hand a stark reminder of his recent battle. Zack's eyes narrow suspiciously. Jesse recognizes those cold, dead eyes staring back at him. Suddenly, they're enveloped in a thick fog that confuses the guards. Jesse tells him he's not here to fight. He just wants to repay a favor for going easy on his colleague. Jesse mentions that the old Zack wouldn't have spared Nora the way he did tonight. Zack's eyes widen. You're an assassin now too?" Zack asks. Jesse laughs. "Oh, I'm surprised you remember me." Zack doesn't have time for games. "I have no idea who you are, but I know what you are. I've dealt with your kind before," he states coolly. "You're intelligent, aren't you?" Zack asks. Seems like it was the wrong guess. "Too bad. It seems you're still getting used to that skin in the future," Jesse replies. He guesses that Zack was brought back very recently. The smokescreen is fading and the guards are closing in. Zack agrees to a meeting 2 days from now. "Where the past and future intertwine," Jesse cryptically says. Zack reflects. "Is there something wrong with my memories?" he wonders. Maya had told him he needed time, not to rush it. But how much is he forgetting? His eyes trail back to K Tower. "Doesn't matter. I remember the most important thing," Zack resolves to himself, clenching his fist. His rage fuels his determination. "I won't rest until I've made them pay." Back at their hideout, Maya is on the rooftop, lost in her thoughts. She didn't want things to end this way, but what choice was there? She really wishes there was another way. But it wasn't enough. Things had already spiraled out of control, past the point of no return. Back inside, she stares at Ruri inside a chamber filled with liquid, and convinces herself that this really wasn't meant to be easy. She remembers Rook during their happier times, and is consumed by the grief of losing a friend. It still hurts, she cries to herself. She's boiling with questions. Why did everything go so terribly? Why were they treated like pawns? The shadow of absolute power looms over her thoughts. They might have stood a chance if they had fought together. In a quiet lab, Maya's figure halts at a chamber containing Ruri. "Ruri!" she calls out. Feelings of guilt wash over her, as she looks at Ruri and Yatsuba. "I'll bring you back. I'll make things right," she promises. And with determination, she swears that she will make King pay for all the pain and suffering he's caused her friends. The scene shifts to a grand arena filled with chanting crowds. The energy is electric, it practically vibrates. Center stage is a man poised with his guitar. It's none other than Knight, also known as Stormweaver, currently at rank 4. Confidence and a hint of something darker play across his smirk, as he readies for his performance. Just then, a sharp announcement breaks the moment. Kiki, bad news, Rook's dead. His nanocore destroyed. The next morning, in this fancy-looking apartment building, the ground is shaking. It feels like an earthquake and people inside are freaking out. Now, we cut to a news report. They're talking about Rook, who was ranked 5th in the assassin rankings, getting defeated in an underground fighting ring. But it wasn't just a loss. Rook's nanocore was destroyed, which is a huge deal. We see blue-haired Knight, very distraught. He grabs a guitar off the wall and smashes it down in frustration. Damn it! He yells. His anger is causing the ground around him to rumble. Flashback to a memory. Rook, seen in his bandaged form, is sharing a brief but important moment with him. Back in the present, Knight is enraged, shouting, "How could you die just like that?" He activates a communicator in his core. "Where's King? Get me a meeting with him and the others now." Next, we're at the hideout. Zack and the others are in the lab. Maya is there, staring at the pod containing Ruri. Yatsuba's nanocore is also placed nearby. Maya looks troubled. Ace, looking grim and quiet, is also in the scene, while Zack seems deep in thought. No one's speaking, so Zack starts the conversation by commending the efforts so far. Maya remains stoic, so Zack goes on to express relief despite the damage caused. The results were what they hoped for. "For that, I should at least thank you," he finishes. Zack and Ace stand there and exchange serious looks. Finally, Maya stirs and turns to them. She's all business. With Rook now dead, they've got bigger fish to fry, and she also wants to take down Caspa Industries. But Ace, being cautious, advises against rushing into things. Maya is adamant about not delaying further. Images on the screen show the grave consequences of Rook's defeat, and awareness of Zack spreading. Ace suggests that Zack lie low for a bit while the other try to get into the top 32. Zack insists on going after the next target immediately. He thinks knocking them off one by one is a better strategy. Maya warns that since their faces are plastered all over the news, they need to be smart. News about Zack, who broke taboo and killed Rook, was now spreading. They've even given him a name, the Ruthless Reaper. They've got a bit of intel on the number 4, and Ace was gonna check it out. When Zack tries to step in, he's told sharply by Maya to sit tight and lay low for a bit. Maya's not in the mood to deal with any reckless plans. When Zack insists, he steps in and calms him down, urging him to step out with him for a bit. Ace signals Zack to just come with him. He looks at the moody Maya and mutters, "Fine," walking out. Maya, feeling the weight of it all, clenches her teeth in frustration. We see Ruri in the pod again, with the nanocore next to her. Ace tries to calm Zack down, explaining Maya's behavior. She's just upset about what happened to the others, and implying she's carrying the blame too. Zack doesn't care and isn't planning to stay long. Ace tries to reassure, pointing out that he's more equipped for this kind of sneaky operation. Zack remains stern but silent. Aki states he's got an undetectable tracker within his core so they can find him, even if he's killed. Zack, suspicious, remembers something about those trackers. Ace mentions he probably heard it from Maya before cause she was the expert at this. He tells Zack he's heading out and to take care of the others. Zack casually accepts the role, no promises. Ace reminds him to stay put and not cause any trouble. Later, Ace bids goodbye. After a few seconds, Zack decides he's not sticking around and leaves. We're now at the shrine for the Black. Zack strides forward, lost in thought. He thinks about Jesse and their planned meeting. As promised, Jesse's already there. "There you are." Jesse turns to him. "Good, we can talk better here," he states, focused and ready. Zack's eyes widen, shock written all over his face. The mention of Eva clearly shakes him to his core. "You," he barks out. "How do you know that name?" Zack demands, eyes glowing red. Jesse, trying to keep things cool, murmurs, "Let's keep the killing intent on the low. We don't want too much attention." But Zack isn't having it. "Answer me," he snarls. "It's really too bad you don't remember. Let's jog your memory a bit." Jesse teases. He's ready to pull a trick out of his sleeve. Zack watches without saying a word, eyes sharp. Jesse pulls out a badge, flashing it with a smug smile. "Does this look familiar?" The badge has Sheriff written on it. Zack, frowning, asks, "What does this have to do with Eva?" Jesse, chuckling, replies, "Must have woken up recently if you still forget details like this." Jesse continues with a knowing grin. "Remember the day you met Eva for the first time?" "Yeah, I was there." Zack's reaction is immediate. Surprise bubbles up. "You? That clingy kid obsessed with Eva?" A memory of a younger, melancholic Jesse appears. Jesse retorts, "I was not clingy." But Zack disagrees. "You were almost attached to her leg." Zack recalls. "What was your name again?" Jesse, almost defensive, says, "It's Jesse now, but we've got more pressing matters. Do you trust your allies?" Jesse asks seriously. Zach's response is cold. "I don't trust them. I'm only using them for the information I need." Jesse continues to share info. "I know all of them except the girl with pink hair. She's hidden herself outside the rankings. Do you know her?" Zach leans on the railing, thoughtful. "Yeah, she told me she used to work for that scumbag. For now, she's just bait." Jesse's disappointment is palpable. "Then I won't pry further. Seems Eva has changed you." Jesse mocks. "But you're still as gloomy as ever, even now. Maybe this new skin of yours is changing you back." Zach, in introspection, mutters, "I'm not gloomy." Jesse replies sarcastically, "Sure you aren't." They argue a bit about old times. Jesse casts an accusing look. "And yet you killed her." Zach's rage boils over. "What did you say?" "You were supposed to protect her." Jesse accuses. "And yet you failed. You can't think you're blameless, can you?" Silence lingers. Zach clenches his fist in misery. "You think I don't know that?" Zach roars, breaking the railing in fury. Guards approach but back off after seeing the vibe of these two. They bolt as Zach and Jesse's confrontation continues. Jesse's memories stir. "After she left that wretched place, it was like a light turned off. I then devoted myself to becoming someone she'd be proud of." Jesse tells Zach how he searched for them, how he finally found their house and learned how they died. He searched forever, but couldn't find Eva and Zach's bodies. Then, the fake stories and that statue came out of nowhere. And yet, he couldn't accept it. Jesse then shifted his target to the leader of Caspa Industries, King. Zach, stunned, exclaims, "Do you know where he is?" Jesse hints that it wasn't that simple. King has protected himself very well, and his presence is everywhere, manipulating rank and power. But Jesse did hear some news that one of his elite guards, the ninth pawn, disappeared recently. Zach looks at him with an annoying smile. "He was weak. He should be enjoying his time in hell right about now." He smirks. "Should have known," Jesse replies. Jesse continues detailing his attempts. He was able to get into the king's banquet a few times, but it was too chaotic that he could never get close enough. Zach, lost in thought, glares into the night. Jesse stands unfazed. "But I won't stop. For the past 200 years, he has dedicated himself to Eva's legacy, and promises to continue doing so." Suddenly, Jesse turns to Zach. He declares that he will be the one to take King down. Zach's free to do what he wants. He won't reveal his identity. But they won't ever be friends. Zach stands in contemplation. Jesse bids farewell. "I'll be seeing you." Zach, brooding, watches Jesse leave. Nora steps in, asking if Zach's done. "Yeah, let's head back." As they walk away, Nora takes one last look at Zach. He's looking up at the statue, remembering all the happy moments he had with Eva. Her laughter and shared moments juxtapose his clenched fist, trembling with anger. Visions of the past, lost in the present, loop before Zach. He remembers the night he died. "Eva," he whispers, "would you have been happier if we never got married? I was never a part of your life in the first place." In a dimly lit lab, researchers stare intently at a glowing core thingy. They're definitely up to something mysterious. Shadows linger, creating a tense vibe. A serious meeting's happening with some shadowy figures. There's an air of unease. One guy has this creepy smile like he knows something wicked's about to go down. Suddenly, a figure extends their hand in a foreboding gesture. It's King. Maya's troubled eyes fly open, clearly shaken by something. Looks like she fell asleep while working. She glances at the tank, where Ruri's lifeless body floats, unaware of the world outside. Yatsuba's four-leaf clover core was beside her. "It's that nightmare again," Maya murmurs. Did she black out? She's on a mission, pressing onward with urgency. Her nightmare flashes through her mind, but she commands herself to stop dwelling on them. Gotta focus, she tells herself. It's not the time to lose it. Yet, a nagging insecurity creeps in. 200 years and I'm still a disaster. Flashes of past emotions overwhelm her, the highs and lows of her journey so visible on her face. She clenches her hand, cursing emotions. She questions why she's bogged down with them. Slamming her fist on the wall, anger flickers within. If it was her, what would she have done? She asks herself. Wandering those sterile halls, her mind fixates on purpose. I have to keep going. She grabs a bottle, taking a moment to refuel, steeling herself for the battles ahead. Every action is dedicated to those she cares about. Resolute, she presses on, one foot in front of the other. But the question remains. Can I ever tell him? The burden of her secrets weighs heavy. Nearby, Zach ponders. He's not keen on random encounters, reminding himself of his mission. Suddenly, an eager voice calls out, interrupting his thoughts, revealing a familiar face. It's the kid from last time, bubbling with energy, smiling and waving at him. Zack, caught off guard, reels in his instincts. It's the kid from last time. Not kid, I'm Leah, she exclaims. You again? He questions. She tells him that she lives nearby but got lost. It's not even funny, he deadpans, concerned about her parents. Silence hangs briefly as he considers his next words. Talking to randos ain't smart. Let's find the authorities to get you home. But Leah goes into full tantrum mode. She clings to Zack, saying she saw him fight and he's not a stranger. Zack is baffled. Seriously, can kids these days watch assassins kill each other? His disillusionment with this world grows. Leah, with her persistent clinginess, is relentless. Zack can't quite believe the situation he's found himself in. Moments later, he admits to himself. Not my strongest suit, dealing with kids. He remembers what Maya said about his cluelessness with kids. Zack's mind flashes back to someone from his past, Queen, who betrayed him. Should he really be doing this? But then, an image of Eva comes to mind. She wouldn't be happy if I left a lost kid alone. So, resignedly, he accepts the task. Let's get you home, kid. Leah lights up, blurting details about the neighborhood in her energetic way. She joyously thanks him, referencing his clash with Rook. I knew you'd be cool. Zack's quick to squash any idolizing of assassins as role models. Leah, blissfully unaware of dark realities, chats about the top ranks, brushing off Rook's demise like it's nothing special. Zack doesn't think this is funny at all. Her future ambitions surprise Zack. She wants to be like the new queen. The revelation hits Zack like a ton of bricks. New queen? Before he could get anything more, Leah's parents appear in a flurry of worry, scolding with familiar desperation. Recognition dawns on the dad as he connects dots. Gratitude spills for watching over Leah, and he offers to repay him. Zack, knowing it's really nothing, quickly dismisses it. The dad invites him to have a meal with them. But Zack's not interested. He prefers they keep a better eye on her from now on. As they part ways, Leah cheerfully waves goodbye, grateful for his help. Zack, alone now, reflects on his strange day, his mind spinning with suspicions. He hasn't felt anyone on his tail. Why wasn't he being hunted since the incident with Rook? Is Maya lying to control him? How much more of what he told him were lies? Zack's mind races, pieces of a puzzle that don't seem to fit. Do you know of her? Jesse's question echoes in his head. He remembers Rook calling her a hypocrite. Rook referred to her as family, implying deeper ties than just colleagues. Is there more behind Rook's words? A memory of Maya looking shaken. But why is she so torn up over their deaths? Was she closer to them than she let on? Zack thinks back. She wasn't an ordinary player in this game. Her network, her knowledge about certain things was way beyond average. She also had an unlimited number of resources. Zack's mind stitches together details. Why didn't Maya tell him that there was a new queen? What's the connection? Zack gets thinking about an undetectable tracker. Ace told him that Maya was an expert on those. He remembers there was someone else who used an undetectable tracker in the past. As he connects the dots, faces flash in his mind, each carrying their own secrets and intentions. It all starts becoming clear now for Zack. Realization hits. Maya and Queen are one and the same. His fury and anger ignite at the truth. The scene shifts to the tower. Where was King? He's late. Someone complains, as a mysterious figure clad in white strolls through a corridor filled with watching eyes. Let's get this meeting started, he says, his voice smooth, cool, and commanding. But first, let's tidy up. Figures swoop down from the sky, nobody's holding back against their target below. The blast is immense, everything shakes. King stands unmoved amidst the chaos, coolly brushing off the dust, joking about needing a new outfit. Confidence, right? He's unfazed by his high-ranking challengers. It's almost like he enjoys the thrill of it. With a creak, the massive door opens, and here comes King, also known as the Pale Death, rank 1, making his grand entrance. He's ready to kickstart the meeting in style. In the conference room, the atmosphere is as tense as you'd expect. Bishop and another silhouette exchange friendly banter, pretending this whole scene is nothing but a reunion. Bishop chuckles, oozing nonchalance. Also known as the Jade Widow, she's number 2 in the rankings. King turns to Queen with a playful jab. It doesn't even faze her, she stands her ground, stern as usual. Queen's currently rank 2, known as the Rising Star. But things heat up when Knight loses it, slamming the table, complaining about the backup fiasco. He's grieving, angry, blaming Rook's death on the system's failure. Can you bring someone back from the dead? Hardly. He stands up and points a finger right at King. He's been loyal, done everything asked of him, and now this? What gives? Silence takes over the room, tension rising. King stays composed, yet Knight presses on, his frustration boiling over. Suddenly, A loud whoosh, and Knight is brought down to the ground. He tries to move but can't. Bishop's amused, but Queen, ever the diplomat, remains silent. King explains painstakingly about memory backups and the toll they take. Not just anyone can access or secure this kind of data. He dismisses the drama, asking everyone to sit tight, promising to overlook Knight's outburst this time. Knight has not choice but to comply. The backups were supposed to be their safety net, but it made the game boring. King seems oddly pleased about shaking things up. He talks about the preparations for the upcoming banquet. Switching gears, King reflects on Rook's weakness, his rank a generous handout despite his reckless hobbies. The underground fights were a dangerous path he couldn't stay away from. And really, who's to stop him? Different strokes, right? Knight clenches a fist, trying to hide his anger. King declares that Rook died doing what he loved most. He was warned, so his death was his own fault. Knight's anger bubbles over. What about the taboo? Rook's core shouldn't have been destroyed. The 8th pawn's core was destroyed by the same person. Past killers who broke the taboo were hunted down mercilessly and made an example of. Why haven't they sent agencies to hunt the killer down? As King sits and listens silently, Knight's already yelling. Who was this person anyway? He killed 2 people and gets to walk away without any consequences. Why don't we ask our newest member? King declares, shifting the focus. Queen's silence, a storm of its own, stuns them all. Knight and Bishop exchange a loaded glance, wondering what this all means. King's enigmatic grin stirs the room. He contemplates the evolution of assassin culture. Right now, assassins are treated more like pro athletes. But back in the day, assassins hid in the shadows, delivering the finality of death. Knight, gritting his teeth, questions King further, wanting answers, clarity. King suggests that Rook's killer could only be one person. The Black. He whispers loudly in Queen's ear. This revelation takes everyone by surprise. Whispers and gasps echo around the room. Your dear old father who doesn't even know you exist, King declares gleefully. Only the Black could do something as ruthless as this. Back outside the hideout, Maya's busy with work. Ruri's still unconscious in the chamber. Beside her is Yatsuba's core. Zack strides into the room, his presence impossible to ignore. Maya greets him, awkwardly trying to apologize for something she did earlier. Zack approaches her, saying nothing, the tension rising between them. Suddenly, he gets real close, and Maya is caught off guard. What's going on here? Zack stares deep into her eyes. Maya blushes furiously, she's not used to all this. Suddenly, Zack grabs her face. He realizes something crucial he'd missed before. Maya had the same eyes as Queen. Zack's grip is firm, unyielding, he's definitely got a point to make. Suddenly, she's stabbed in the stomach with Zack's nanoessence knife. He accuses Maya of trying to trick him multiple times. He's done with her games. Maya's internal panic sets in, she notes how fast Zack is adapting. Zack delivers a swift kick, not giving any room for Maya's pleas. Maya struggles to heal, but it's not looking good for her right now. Zack states flatly, no more excuses. Zack's eyes are blazing as he advances, blade in hand. He tells her, quite plainly, that it's time for her to die. Maya barely manages to summon a barrier, just in time. The conflict spills outside, shaking the building. The winds swirl around them, a chaotic mess. The building's in shambles. But Maya stands her ground. She's feeling the strain now. She tries to reason with Zack, but it seems like he's not hearing her at all. She leaps onto the higher ground, desperately strategizing. Her realization hits hard, eyes wide and panicked. Zack attacks relentlessly, every move precise and deadly. Maya curses her situation, knowing she's cornered. Zack keeps closing in, his movements sharp and calculated. Maya, feeling cornered, decides to strike back. If Zack won't listen, she'll have to make him stop by force. As they battle, Zack slips and Maya seizes the advantage, unleashing a full attack. In a moment of desperation, Maya fears her counterattack might have been too strong. Zack's voice drips with derision. Not in a million years. He's far from finished. Maya's eyes widen, there's a knife at her neck, Zack's right behind her. He has her pinned, making his intentions clear. Maya's astonished. When did Zack create a copy of himself? She feels outmatched. She tries to explain herself, but Zack won't let her get a word in, and unleashes another punch. It's too late for that, he tells her. His attack leaves Maya reeling in its wake. She hits the ground hard, clutching her wound, she's in serious trouble. Zack stands over her, a shadow of doom. He doesn't plan on letting this go easily. She tries to get up, but she's slammed back to the ground, hard. Maya tries to reason with him, offering to help him get King. That's all she wants, why doesn't he understand? Zack shuts her up. He's got questions and she needs to answer them. He needs to know where King is. His face is intense, driven by purpose. Maya responds as best she can, her voice strained. She tells him the hard truth: King's location is a secret even she doesn't know. Zack isn't buying it. He's ready to increase the pressure. Zack accuses her of lies, promising pain until he squeezes out the truth. But Maya's determined. She never lied to him, ever. If she has to die, it's okay, just as long it's by his hand. Zack, emotional and fierce, accuses her of betrayal and causing his wife's death. Memories of Eva flood in, reminding Zack of what was lost, his grief, his anger boiling below the surface. The scene shifts, a bloody Eva, an image of despair. Maya cries, her tears mingling with the dust around them. Zack stands firm, but there's a hint of vulnerability. A final memory of Eva smiles warmly, a bittersweet reminder of better times. Zack is furious, gripping Maya with an iron fist. "Why?" he exclaims, his eyes burning with intensity. Why does Maya remind him so much of his wife? His mind races as he accuses her of tampering with his memories. From the start, she acted too much like Eva, and it's unsettling. She's struggling, her strength sapped, but she remains silent under Zack's overwhelming presence. Zack's frustration peaks. "Now you won't talk? Answer me!" he roars, his red energy flaring. But there's a new voice. A figure steps up, telling Zack to back off. The figure steps out from the liquid-filled chamber. It's Ruri. "You have no idea what's going on," she states coolly, urging him to think twice before making a costly mistake. Zack's eyes narrow. He's convinced they're all conspiring against him. He'll get Ruri after he's done with Maya. Ruri persists, insisting Zack gain clarity. Apparently, Maya could hurt him if she wanted, yet hasn't even tried, a point made to challenge Zack's assumptions. Zack, unfazed and unyielding, orders them to wait her turn as he prioritizes his vengeance. A bombshell drops. "King lied," she reveals. Zack's world pauses, the revelation hanging in the air. The truth twists deeper. "Your wife did not die on that day," she reveals, shattering Zack's conviction. It's almost too much. Zack is staggered. "What?" he blurts, disbelief clouding his fury. Now comes the kicker. The mystery woman explains why Maya acts so much like Eva. The declaration stuns Zack. "Although it's not completely right to say this, considering the circumstances, but in a way, she is Eva. Or at least, some kind of clone of her," Ruri concludes. Zack finally releases her. Zack's anger boils over. "I've had enough of these lies, so tread carefully," he growls. But it gets even crazier. A part of Maya might truly be Eva, his wife. Ruri declares that it's time to face the truth. It's the only way forward. Zack remains silent, the anger still evident in his eyes. Maya closes her eyes for a second. The shadows twist around in her memories, a sinister reminder of her past. "I can tell you only what I remember," Maya admits, sounding more fragile than powerful. Her memories might have been forcefully erased many times in the past, so she doesn't know what's missing. Maya's story begins. She was not born a human. She was an AI, programmed with clear instructions and limitations. She had no free will or a personality. Her memories, or what little she recalls, speak of data from endless experiments. She tells them how they combined multiple AIs to create an assassin with consciousness, who could invade other people's minds and manipulate memories. Memories are the root of all emotion, after all. The goal was immortality. That was why the bioengineered bodies and nano essence were created. Her original body, Queen, was among the first trials of bioengineered bodies. With her, they wanted to experiment what effect emotions had on nano essence. They found a perfect candidate to clone, someone full of emotions. Maya admits that her first body and personality were meant to be a clone of Eva. She even had some of her memories and emotions. And she doesn't know why it had to be Eva exactly. Only that she was meant to be Eva's replacement. That's why their mannerisms, personality, and emotions are the same. Maya recalls the day they first met. She asked him if he reminded him of his wife. She admits that she couldn't help it, because he was the only one who knew the real Eva. She wanted to know if the emotions she felt for him was really hers or Eva's. Ruri turns to Zack for a reaction. Zack's skepticism grows. His fists are tight, his voice challenging. "Do you expect me to believe that? How could anyone believe that you're a clone of Eva? Eva was..." he begins, trying to see her in his memories. But some parts of it were missing. "You still don't remember everything," Maya tells him. But the frustration remains, unable to recall everything with clarity. He still needs time to get used to his new body, Maya explains. Spending 200 years without memories and suddenly jumping into this body has its side effects. He needs to restore his memories. Maya compares memories to eating a crepe, strange analogy, but viciously accurate. She explains how gaps in memory can be exploited, the memory completely erased or replaced with something else. Zack demands what she's trying to say. Maya asks if he remembers the moment he met Eva. Does he remember the exact moment? Or are they just vague images put together by manipulated memory? Does he remember anything about Eva? Doubt hangs thick in the air, but Zack is sure he knows, or he used to know these things. Yes, but Maya reveals that he can't be sure if it was just a side effect of his new skin or if those memories were planted. Zack confronts her. If they were manipulated memories, chances are it was Maya who did it. She doesn't deny it. It would have most likely been her, but she doesn't remember anything. His hands grasp Maya. Then, do something! He cries desperately. Zack's voice cracks with emotion. Bring her back to me. Those memories are the only thing I have left of her. Maya and Ruri are speechless at the sadness and anguish in Zack. Maya answers that she could try. But it could take months and they don't have that much time until the banquet. There was a lot of corruption in Zack's data when she checked. Zack, frustrated, brushes past her with a grunt, muttering about how there's always some new complication in his life. Seriously, this dude can't catch a break. He runs his hand through his hair, trying to piece everything together. There has to be a way. He insists to himself, but things look pretty bleak. Ruri jumps in, telling him that there aren't a lot of options except to fight. They're all playing King's game. They have no choice but to beat him at it. Maya, looking downcast, can't seem to find the words. All those tangled memories make it so confusing. Zack's eyes fill with a fiery determination. He remembers something crucial. They mention that Eva didn't die. He swings around to Maya, full of questions. Could Eva actually be alive somewhere? Maya stands silently, almost like she's reluctant to admit it. But the truth is unavoidable. She can't totally dismiss that possibility. Deep down, though, she doubts Eva could be alive. Or even have a nanocore. That hope slips like sand through fingers. Maya explains that during her time as queen, Eva's fate was always a blank spot. On that day, she can only remember King walking into the house alone and ordering a body double for Eva. Maya suspects her memories were tampered with against her will, leaving no trace of Eva's existence. Zack sees. King holds the truth about what happened that day. What did he do to Eva? It confounds them both. Why would King keep Eva alive? Then again, his unpredictability knows no bounds. Ruri questions about a nanocore. Maya explains how the system tracks all cores. It's impossible to hide a nanocore anywhere in the system. It's just one of King's control tactics. Even with her skills, it took decades for her to hack her own core and restructure it to be free from King's control. She doubts there's anyone out there more skilled who could do it. Zack asks. So the chances of Eva being alive somewhere are close to zero? Maya's just telling him the facts. Zack mocks her sudden truthfulness, but his clenched fist reveals his building anger. He vows to confront King until he gets answers about Eva, no matter the odds. If there's the smallest chance she could be alive, then it might not be too late. Emotions churn as Zack faces Maya. His steely gaze doesn't waver, leaving Maya visibly shaken. He abruptly turns to leave, but leaves some parting words. Images of Eva flood back. She's the bright spot in a corrupted world. You're nothing like her. No one could ever be, he tells the stunned Maya. Zack emphasizes he'll deal with King first, then he'll come back to deal with her. Ruri offers a quiet comfort to Maya as she struggles with the complexity of her emotions, a small touch offering solace. Ruri reflects that it's probably the best thing she's ever heard in her life, knowing she's her own person and not an Eva clone. Meanwhile, Ace navigates the city streets, frustration boiling over as past events collide with the present. He's been holding it together, but doubts creep in. The mission's pressure weighs heavy, catching up badly. Why did it have to be that one out of the top 5? Decoding Maya's intentions, he's determined to face the challenge head-on. A promise to his father propels him forward. Don't worry, Dad. I'll keep my promise to you. In another part of the city, bike engines roar as they cruise through the city lights. Suddenly, a daring maneuver over traffic jolts the scene. Excitement swells in the rider, who's filled with an adrenaline-fueled rush. The other rider laughs at this risky stunt. As he's about to land, the second rider screeches to a stop. A mysterious snake-like energy crackles around her hand, and reaches out to the first rider, creating a landing ramp made out of pure energy. That's dangerous, Kiki. What if I wasn't here? She remarks. Her name's Vexy, aka Midnight Rider, rank 14. Knight steps off his bike and removes his helmet. He takes Vexy in his arms and kisses her gently. It's because you're here that I do what I do, he murmurs. Then he turns to leave. They have some leads to check out. Knight is fired up, his determination sharper than ever. He mutters through gritted teeth. I can't rest until that bastard is dead. The scene starts with a cityscape, a moment of calm before the storm. Then, bam! There's a loud crash as Zack deals with another challenge. Meanwhile, Maya recalls an encounter with King, realizing she needs Eva to find answers. Zack, in prime fighting condition, ponders over the events. He's ready for whatever's next. Maya is momentarily rattled from the accidental scare. Still, a bit disappointed, she shakes it off. Ruri enters, confused and intrigued about this little scene. "What's up?" she asks of calm as Maya clings to her for some reassurance. They share a moment of tender banter, Ruri teasing about her motherly aura. Maya feels better, this connection helps her refocus. "Just be patient," Ruri advises. Maya wishes Ruri well, missing her already. Ruri's confident that things will work out eventually. The tension between Zack and Ruri hasn't totally cleared up, though. Maya heads out, determined and introspective. Zack glances over, a storm brewing behind his eyes. "What do you want?" he asks Ruri. With determination in her eyes, she holds out Yatsuba's core. Zack's tense. "What's this all about?" Ruri reveals her intent to return home. She's got some cash stashed there, and he wants to get Yatsuba the best skin she can buy. Zack seems indifferent. He doesn't really care. Ruri remains firm. She reminds Zack they share a common goal now. She promises that they'll be back in time for the banquet. She urges Zack to be more understanding of Maya's unique situation, reminding him that she was created to be replacement and programmed to do their bidding. Maya was forced to take part in Zack's death, not out of necessity, but as a means to manipulate her emotions. Despite all she's endured, Maya genuinely wants to make things right. Ruri tells Zack to remember Maya's role and efforts. Without her, he wouldn't be alive right now. Zack remains silent, thinking it over. He mentions how Yatsuba said the same thing to him. Ruri laughs. It's just like him. Her grandson is indeed a cute genius. They share a light-hearted moment. "Make sure to bring him back." Zack wishes her well. Sometime later, Zack's coming out from a shower. Something catches his eye. He notices a table spread out with delectable food and a cheeky note. "No poison here, just some culinary delights." Zack's a bit skeptical but amused. As Zack eats the meal, Maya watches from a surveillance camera in her room. Her focus is broken by a persistent beep, alerting her regarding something involving Ace. Ace's face pops up on a device screen with a warning plastered over it. We skip back to a few hours earlier. Ace navigates through the bright and busy city streets. He gets hit on left and right, but it's just noise to him. Two admirers hilariously start bickering over him, which Ace uses as a perfect cover to slip away. Ace follows his senses to a suspicious lead. He knows he's in the right place for some answers. He sneaks in, ready to gather intel. He's not ready to meet her, but he knows it's a necessary risk. Ace's instincts kick in as he scouts the place, searching thoroughly. Suddenly, he's caught off guard by an unexpected guest. Ace's heart skips. It's a critical moment. He didn't expect this confrontation. "Come and give your darling mom a hug," she playfully taunts. This striking woman has an aura of power and mischief. We shift back to the hideout. Maya's on the move, clearly agitated. But something makes her stop. She's face to face with Zack and there's tension in the air. Their eyes meet, both carrying the weight of unsaid words. Without warning, Maya bolts past Zack, leaving him puzzled. He watches her rush to the door, curiosity piqued. "What's going on? Why the hurry?" he calls out. Maya, not breaking stride, mutters about an alert she received from Ace's tracker. "Ace might have found Bishop," Maya explains. Zack charges after her, urgency replacing his calm demeanor. She should have mentioned that sooner. "Where are they?" Zack demands. Maya's already at the door, tossing back that they're heading to the red light district. Suddenly, Zack stops. The ground shakes, tremors rippling through, a bad omen for sure. Zack grabs Maya, pulling her away from the door. A massive explosion follows, sending shockwaves outwards and breaking down the door. They hit the ground hard but safely. Maya's eyes are wide with fear as she blocks pieces of rock flying their way. The dust settles, leaving them in a wreck scene. "Come on out," a voice calls. They stare at each other for a moment. As they get up, Zack offers to help Maya up. She gratefully thanks him for the save. But he waves it off, still focused on the mission. He's got to get to the bottom of this mess, involving Eva somehow. That's why he needs her alive. But before they can regroup, shadows emerge from the debris. Maya knows those tremors could only mean one thing. Night and Vexy, and their presence signals trouble. Zack's expression hardens, knowing one of his mortal enemies was in front of him. Night taunts him. "You think I'd just stand by after you perma-killed my brother?" Night won't let this slide. Vengeance is in his eyes, each word dripping with malice. Maya reads the situation and tries to step in, but it's futile. Night's determined to settle this score, no holds barred. Power crackles around Knight, his threats echoing, the promise of a slow and painful end for Zack. Zack smirks, mocking the opposition, daring them to bring it. A slow death sounds like a fitting end for you. Zack smiles threateningly. Maya pleads for restraint, the situation spiraling. But Knight's not backing down. He dismisses her, calling her a traitor. Faced with Knight's wrath, Maya steels herself for what's to come. I have nothing to say to you, Knight says to Maya as Vexy steps up to take her on. But before anyone can make a move, hands grab Vexy. Where do you think you're going? Zack asks malevolently, as darkness envelopes them. Zack's voice is cold, sending shivers down Maya's spine. Vexy's inner struggle is fierce. One wrong move could end her. Amidst this chaos, Knight comes charging in, demanding Zack let go of Vexy. He races towards them, sword drawn. Zack braces for the incoming attack. With a swift motion, Knight tries to strike, but Zack parries easily, countering with his own move. The clash of swords sends sparks flying. Knight's blade meets Zack's dagger. You think that little thing will help you? Knight taunts. Zack's dagger begins to crack. Zack and Maya are shocked. Vexy is released during the attack. Vexy, you okay? Knight calls out. Zack orders Maya to take care of Vexy. As the former queen, you can handle this, right? Zack's challenge is met with a steely resolve. Maya's hand tightens into a fist. Leave it to me, she declares. Knight's voice pounds through the chaos. You're dead, he calls out, racing into action again. In the intense exchange, every strike feels like an earthquake, threatening to topple what's left standing. Knight's power intensifies, conjuring vivid auras as he delivers blow after blow. But Zack is relentless, fighting back with precision. Knight isn't backing down. He pulls energy into his fists, aiming to land a knockout punch. Zack responds with a kick, deflecting Knight's energy, keeping the fight alive. The intensity only seems to rise, with Zack noting how much Knight has changed. Knight smirks, recounting a hardened journey over centuries. 200 years can turn an angel into a killer, he retorts. Zack's smirk fades. Not everyone, he softly rebuts, thinking of someone special who wasn't swayed by darkness. Knight laughs at Zack's conviction, brushing it off as naive. Memories flood Knight's mind, a tough upbringing in the slums with his brother, surviving against the odds. The harshness of their childhood didn't break them, but it sure shaped them. He thought himself a calm and peaceful person. But hiding underneath it all was actually a monster. But despite that, he still tried to pursue peace. Zack's death was supposed to be a start of that peace. But the future wasn't kind to them. Knight and Rook started drifting apart, and they hadn't talked for years. Until he met Vexy. She brought about a change in him, and things started to get better. He even reconnected with Rook again, bonding and listening to music. His face darkens. I can't do those things with my brother again, because you killed him! Knight's accusation lashes out, filled with years of anguish. Zack counters, not interested in sob stories. No one asked for your life story. He barks back, charging up for another confrontation. But Knight's ready for him with another sonic blast. That sends Zack crashing to the wall. Cracks form under Knight's furious stance as his energy builds. It shakes the ground, threatening to swallow the remnant of their broken ties. I'll make you pay! Knight's words spill out like venom, commitment burning with each step. The energy bursts as Knight unleashes his full power, the very air humming with intensity. In another part of the hideout, debris flies, tossed aside like the echoes of their struggles. Vexy mutters, "What a monster, a total freak of nature." "You're wrong, Vexy. He's very cool." Maya counters, shaking his head in disbelief at the absurdity of it all. In the heat of the moment, Vexy stands with confidence, questioning loyalties and motives. What did Maya see in him? Maya tells her to stop calling her ridiculous nicknames. She's not queen anymore. They exchange playful banter about nicknames, each trying to outwit the other with humor. The atmosphere gets tenser, Vexy powers up. She's confident she can beat the former queen who's in a weaker skin now. Maya slips off her jacket and asserts that a true assassin doesn't rely on skins. She knows she can still hold her ground. Meanwhile, at the red light district, Ace blinks awake, confusion spreading across his face. "How the heck did I end up here?" he mutters, finding himself chained to a bed. A familiar, icy voice cuts through his panic. "Awake already, are you?" Bishop's silhouette looms ominously. Ace's mind races. Bishop, his own mother, is here. Flashback to earlier in the evening. Ace powers up as soon as he sees his mother. "You immediately resorted to violence. Did you really think you could go up against me?" she asks. "You dare attack your own mother?" she taunts, as energy clashes between them. Ace retaliates, but it's clear Bishop has the upper hand. "I have to discipline you. After all, that's what mothers are for," she murmurs, as Ace loses consciousness in her tight embrace. We return to the present. "Don't glare at me like that," she says. Ace seethes but can't break free. "You've grown to be such a fine young man," she continues, marveling at what a fine young man he's become. Was this the skin that his father left him? Too bad he hasn't learned to use it properly yet. Her barbs about his father sting, and he can't hold back his rage. "You don't get to speak of him," Ace screams, fuming over his father's tragic end. Bishop turns away, asserting his father was too weak for the assassin world anyway. As if to insult him further, she tells him he can't use his powers. Her toxins have numbed him. And she's also hacked into the undetectable tracker planted in him, and traced the location of their secret hideout. Knight and Vexy should be there by now. She gloats about bypassing a virus, as if it's a trivial game, and Ace's frustration boils over. "Darn it!" he curses. She moves closer and suggests they catch up, a twisted version of mother-son time. But someone warns her. "We still need him alive, Bishop." The presence of an intruder catches her off guard. Ace is shocked too. It's the new queen, standing majestically, bearing down on the room and questioning Bishop's intentions. "Are you insinuating that I'd kill my own son?" Bishop asks. Suspicions fly. Bishop accuses Queen of never experiencing parental love. Tension crackles as Bishop approaches with insults. She attempts to assert control, taunting her as someone with no emotions. But Queen doesn't take the bait. Instead, hints that King has plans and they better not get in his way. Enraged, Bishop lashes out, screaming that the only reason she was made the new queen was because the Saw Black's daughter. Ace, overhearing this, is floored by what he's learning about Queen. Bishop declares her need for a retreat, her mood darkened by the interaction. Queen stands stoic against the window, pondering the chaos and ignoring Ace's presence. Ace questions her lineage and the truth of her identity. Silence meets his question as she gazes out, lost in thought. Ace's emotions swing between exasperation and curiosity. "What is he like?" Queen suddenly asks. She presses for details about the person behind her mystery. With a soft truth, Ace reveals her father wasn't the monster the rumors claimed. He's stronger than anyone Ace has ever seen. But kind. At first he was hurt and angry about his wife's death, and he lashed out at everyone. But even if he would never admit it, he always had their backs. Ace grapples with the duality of this figure. Yes, kind. But ruthless when necessary. Ace wonders what will happen once the Black learns that his wife didn't die back then, and now he has a daughter who's an assassin too. The scene changes back to the hideout. An explosion rattles their standoff, signaling the unpredictable twists yet to come. Knight and Zack are still locked in fierce battle. They're in the middle of an all-out chaos. The scene erupts as energy crackles around them, blurring the line between human and supernatural. Zack twists, avoiding Knight's attacks. It's like he's dancing through a swirling storm. Out of nowhere, a massive block flies towards him. But he quickly slices through it with his powers. But before he can dodge, Knight comes in with a solid punch. The impact sends Zack smashing into a nearby structure. Chunks of concrete and glass shatter, spiraling everywhere in a wild storm of debris. "Is that all you got?" The Zack taunts in the shadows, sounding almost amused. In another part of the building, the battle between Maya and Vexy rages on. Vexy darts through the destruction, leaping with agile finesse, evading Maya's nano blades with precision. They lock eyes on each other. It's a fierce clash of powers. It's Vexy's turn now as she counters with ethereal chains of her own. The chains snake around the room, coiling with intent. Vexy dodges, creating a barrier to block the onslaught. The chains clash and bounce, leaving cracks spidering across the floor. But Maya's defense is rock solid, keeping the snake chains at bay. Neither of them willing to give an inch. "We're getting nowhere like this," Maya shouts, her voice cutting through the din. Vexy's response is a simple nod. She knows they're at an impasse. She sends her chain upwards into the ceiling, sending rocks falling. Maya protects herself in a dome, only to realize that another attack is coming from below. She can't block everything all at once. Her defense shatters and she drops to her knee. Vexy sees her chance and strikes. Suddenly, the battlefield shifts. Maya is wrapped tight in Vexy's chains. She's rattled, staring down at the chains binding her. Trapped, she is forced to listen as Vexy speaks the harsh truth. "Was leaving really the only choice, Mimi?" Vexy approaches, telling her that she was strong enough to beat her now. Did she really hate this life that much? Vexy asks. She doesn't really know what happens behind closed doors, but reasons that some actions are necessary to keep the current peace. Sadness fills my eyes as she remembers her origins. "Freedom is something I never had," she murmurs. She was just a puppet dancing to the strings of others. How many people have had to suffer in the name of this so-called peace? Is this really the only way to go about it? Maya's stance shifts as she insists. Peace through control is no true peace. It's hell. The realization hits like a thunderclap as her chains start disintegrating, and Maya picks herself up. The shock twists into grudging admiration. You let yourself get caught? She murmurs, surprised. Yes. Maya responds, standing firm. I needed to send a virus into your core. Even if it breaks my morals. She's doing all this to help him. Her resolution is unshakable, thinking of those she aims to save. If it's for them, she's willing to become a ruthless assassin again. She punches Vexy and sends her crashing to the wall. She stares at her hand, the glitching signals a testament to Maya's plan. My core, it's not responding, Vexy mutters. Maya reassures her it will go back to normal in time. Her lips twitch as she delivers a smile. Flashes of her memories with Night go through her mind. She knows what she needs to do now. What are you doing, Vexy? Maya yells, concern etched across her face. Vexy exhales softly. Her expression softens. It was nice seeing you again, Mimi. I hope you reached the freedom you wanted. Maya rushes forward, a cry in her throat, desperate to halt what's unfolding, what Vexy has set into motion. Light envelopes Vexy, a halo heralding her surrender. Maya's shouting through the chaos, warning Vexy about the danger of pushing her core too hard. The intensity of the scene shifts as a memory flashes, a tender moment between Vexy and someone Night. I love you, Kiki, he says, and it seems like a whole different world compared to the battle now. Suddenly, the building shakes with a deafening crack, the walls can't take it anymore, exploding into a blaze of light and debris. The explosion shocks Night as he realizes what just happened. He watches the burning building in horror. An image of Vexy flashes through his mind. Zack also watches from a distance, the wind whipping around him as he assesses the unfolding chaos. He remarks that thing didn't end well for Vexy and Maya. And judging from Night's reaction, this wasn't a temporary death either. A memory of that night crosses his mind. Zack's voice drips with cold anger. It's time you understand your sins, he declares, his grip on the knife tightening. The sky tears with a streak of light, Zack lunging with fierce speed. Even if it turns out that Eva's alive, he's still going to kill them all for ripping her away from him. But Night isn't backing down. He sends an attack with a big crash. So you figured out that your wife survived? He taunts, assessing Zack's reaction. He doesn't really care. They're all King's plans anyway. Let King have his fun. He shrugs. I do what I want. His nano essence forms into blue torpedoes behind him. Zack's eyes flare with intensity. You want to kill me for your wife? Well, I want to kill you for my brother and Vexy, he mutters. It's really just that simple. Fine by me, Zack responds, eyes like steel. Night advances, energy crackling ominously. Zack punches a wall and pulls out a large slab of it. As Night's attack closes in, he raises the slab like a sure lead. And to Night's shock, Zack coats the makeshift shield in his nano essence and leaps toward the projectiles. He easily neutralizes Night's attacks, deflecting them away. Suddenly, the attacks stop. Zack wonders where Night went. But then, there's a rumble underneath. Huge slabs of concrete come flying at him. It's just a distraction for the tiny blue cubes now at his feet, beeping ominously, Carat 39. With one last final beep, they explode all around Zack. Night surveys the damage, but when the smoke starts to clear, it's obvious that Zack's not down yet. Guess that wasn't a knot, Night remarks. But suddenly, a black figure sneaks up behind him, and is ready for the attack. Night turns sharply, but is unable to dodge it. Boom, off he goes into the wall. He's momentarily stunned. Zack made a copy of himself using his nano essence. When did he get this strong? It's a new level of intensity. Night can't believe the amount of progress Zack has made in the span of a week in his new skin. Still grappling with this belief, Night doubts their next move. They stare at each other with intensity. We're getting nowhere. Night finally breaks the standstill. He discards his coat, ready for direct confrontation, bearing every ounce of resolve. Nano essence swirls around him, encircling fists. At first Zack is surprised, but then his lips curls into a grin. I prefer it this way. Zack agrees, fists thrumming with dark energy. It's a dance of titans. One wrong move, and either side could crumble. With a ground-shattering charge, they collide. Rain pours down hard, setting a dramatic backdrop for the battle as it intensifies with explosive energy. Buildings shake under the sheer power of Zack's confrontation with Night, and debris flies everywhere. Both are locked in a furious exchange, their blows lightning fast, each hit echoing like thunder. Zack's eyes are fierce, channeling energy through his fists, facing off against Night, who's equally relentless. As Zack charges forward, energy crackles around him, but he's met with Night's devastating counterattack. The impact sends shockwaves across the battleground. Zack crashes into the wall, the impact shattering concrete, yet he's far from down. Night taunts, Stay down. No matter what you do, you're still dying today. His voice cold and resolute. Zack rises from the rubble, determination in his glowing red eyes. Is he tapping into something more? Knight hesitates. Is this some kind of limit break? There's a sudden increase in his nano essence, as he steps up with renewed strength. Knight steadies himself, blue energy swirling around him as he tries to strategize in the face of Zack's overwhelming power. It doesn't feel like a limit break. But he doesn't have time to worry about that. He has to keep going. Despite the doubts, his resolve is unbroken. Zack launches himself at Knight again, a purple vortex surrounding him. They clash fiercely, each movement blur of speed and force. The ground splits beneath their feet, the intensity unyielding. Knight's finally on the ground with Zack towering over him, but refuses to back down. Suddenly, there's a rumble. The building's about to collapse. They stare at each other intensely and grin. This was a window of opportunity. As the debris falls on them, they dash off. Punches fly, energy crackles, each hit a testament to their strength. The storm around them swirls more violently with every move they make, filling the air with tension. The ground quakes and rocks rain down as their fists connect, a standoff of sheer will. Meanwhile, bystanders scatter, desperate to escape the chaos. Someone cries about assassins running rampant, questioning the agency's lack of control. Finally, the dust settles. A long figure emerges from the rubble. It's Zack, dragging Knight along with him. With a flare of power, he slams Knight into the ground. What happened to Eva? Where is she now? He demands. Knight only smiles. There are still so many things Zack doesn't know. Too bad he won't be around anymore to see Zack's face when the truth comes out. Zack delivers a chilling message. If he doesn't want to talk, then he dies. He readies another powerful attack. Just then, an urgent announcement blares from a screen. It's from the assassin agency. It's been confirmed. The legendary assassin, the Black, is back among us as the new rising rookie, Zack. Zack turns in surprise to see his old face plastered on screens all over the city. Knight smirks at this. Told you, didn't I? That you're gonna die today no matter what? The city is buzzing with breaking news. The legendary assassin known as the Black has resurfaced, and it's been revealed to be Zack. People are stunned, and conversations buzz with speculation. This is the guy who came out of nowhere to defeat Rook and take the rank 5 spot, was the legendary assassin Black. Hidden figures watch from the shadows, unsure of the chaos this revelation might unleash on the world. This isn't good, Nora mutters. The air is thick with tension, and spectators are eager to see how this shakeup will affect the semi-mythical assassin rankings. King follows these events closely and grins with a sense of anticipation. The real game begins from here. Back at the battlefield, Zack stands speechless as the broadcast ends with a hearty welcome from the network who can't wait to see him fight again. In the aftermath, Knight laughs, taunting and bleeding. He talks about the secrets that Zack still has yet to learn. But his time is almost up, crackling and fading away in light. As past memories flash by, there's a sense of reminiscence and closure. It wasn't all too bad. He even managed to live a good life towards the end. With determination, Knight makes a final stand, laughing in the face of death. But he still has one last song up his sleeve. A funeral dirge for the Black. With this, he glows brightly and explodes, knocking Zack away with so much force. The bystanders are in a panic. First there was the earthquake, and now explosions. What on earth is going on? Knight's bright flash is like a beacon, and assassins all over the city make their move. In the damaged hideout, Zack climbs out from the rubble. That last blast was powerful, and Zack is all bloody. He surveys the destruction left in the wake of battle, and finds Maya unconscious nearby. The assassin guild gathers, shadows flitting across rooftops. Each move watched by keen eyes, hungry for the coming conflict. Zack senses the danger approaching. Maya did help him out in the end. He hooks Maya up to a functioning chamber, and places her in there to recover. He then heads back out. The rooftop is now his arena. He knows there are eyes on him, his resolve shines through, that eerie calm settled in his posture. Before long, he's surrounded on all sides by assassins. Leading the charge is Afro Goofy, amazed that Zack was the legendary Black. They're here to witness the fall of the once great Black. But Zack brandishes his blade, daring the world to challenge him. Laughter cracks the tension. Afro Goofy taunts him. He's surrounded by more than 100 assassins, and he's still injured from his battle with Knight. Zack, battered but far from broken, smiles. Is that what you see? He asks Goofy. All I'm surrounded by are corpses, he declares, defiance unyielding even as dozens tighten the noose. The stage set, Zack invites them all to bring it on. Zack grins back, blade gleaming in his hand. He's surrounded by enemies, or as he sees it, a future pile of corpses. With a devil-may-care attitude, he's all in, bring it on. Elsewhere, A modern building looms against the night, two figures silhouetted in a window. Nora, tense and anxious, calls out, "Boss!" slamming the door behind her. Jesse's inside, cool as ever, with the smoke in his hand. Nora delivers the bad news. That guy Zack is apparently the former legend known as Black, and he just defeated Knight and climbed to rank 4. A hefty bounty is on his head, courtesy of the assassin agency. It's clear, things are spiraling fast. No time to waste, Jesse decides it's time to move. Every assassin will be gunning for Zack. Even if you're the best assassin out there, he won't be able to last long. Meanwhile, Zack is taking on waves of warriors, his prowess unmistakable despite the odds. Afro Goofy stares in shock as Zack slices through opposition with ease, leaving a bloody mess in his wake. It's a war zone as he easily dispatches them one by one. More attackers are inbound, but Zack remains unfazed. He drops into another skirmish, cutting down foes left and right. His energy slices through the air with deadly precision. "Surround him!" someone shouts, desperate to corral Zack. But he's already readied his next move, summoning a scythe-like weapon and spinning it in the air. Even the onlookers can sense the shift, their alarm bells ringing. Zack hurls this power into a whirlwind of destruction, taking them all down in one move. Afro Goofy, wincing, finally realizes the depth of power they're up against. Zack isn't just any opponent. He really is a monster, Goofy mutters. Behind the fractures of the battlefield, new challengers approach quickly. One by one, priority targets fall, leaving Zack face to face with more enemies from the shadows. Afro Goofy is sweating bullets from his vantage point, and declares that he won't go down easily. His grip is steadfast, purple energy pulsing as he dashes through the enemy ranks towards Goofy. Zack strikes and Goofy jumps off the rooftop. He curses King. This wasn't what he was told. Zack was far too strong. Another explosions, but Zack maintains his focus. It's so obvious what King was doing. He's trying to bring his fake history into reality. But Zack's determined not to let him succeed this time. Another shadow comes up to face him. A new figure Crow appears saying that he's got something important to tell the Black. But Zack's not interested, and a swift slash ends his attempt to chat. "Evacuate!" An alarm blares throughout the area. Zack stares at his monument. Seething with anger, he vows to kill them all this time, and destroy everything they've built. As more adversaries close in, Zack leaps into action, carrying the weight of his vow. Just you wait. This isn't over yet. Your likes help Benza make more juicy content. Go on and hit that bell icon. Peace, send him out.